about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. To forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the land of the dawn as we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and today is an insane day as we have two teams competing in a best of 3 for the first series, Elite 10 versus OTS, only the squad. Now, got a little bit of history with that name, right? So that was a squad I kind of built from the ground up. We made it to top 32 with a lot of amazing individuals. So unfortunately, we don't really play together as a team anymore since we're more on the casting side, but our legacy still lives on. And I'm excited to see how OTS kind of fares off in today's matches. But speaking of faring off, let's take a look at the schedule today as we are moving forward. We have the Elite 10 versus only the squad, Nefarious versus Blacklist, and to finish off the day, Excellent Era versus Tang Dynasty. Like we said, the first match is already on the way and the draft is almost complete with the Elite 10 versus only the squad. And we also have a special guest to kind of cast it up with us on the analyst side of things. How you doing today, Eunice?
Hello. All right. Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. Oh. Interesting. Anyways, we're not gonna mind that, but I'm actually pretty excited to see only the squad and knowing that, like, you know, everything's been built up from the bottom to the top, and I've never seen them before yet. So we're gonna see how things go, and we're experiencing a little bit of technical difficulty. So hold on with us for just a couple minutes. We'll get that settled right away. But if any of you guys know anything about OTS or Elite 10s, they've actually been pretty good standing so far by the side of Elite 10. They were in multiple scrims so far and multiple King of the Hill fights today and previously. So we're actually gonna be in a very interesting match. So looking up the draft phase right now, we did have to skip that just a little bit because of a little bit of technical issues. But looks like Joy has been picked up by the side of Elite 10. And Marcus has been picked up by the side of OTS. Now, mind you, those two heroes are pretty OP right now in our current meta. I do not see Xavier, and I'm guessing that Xavier did get banned, but they did pick up that Eve. A little bit of confusion with the marksman lane, though. Carry into a Clint might be a little bit of a struggle for the side of elites, but as long as that carry is able to execute and be able to lane well, should be very okay for both sides of the marksman lane. Looks like a little bit of invasion happening from OTS, and speaking of invasion,
A little bit of a stun with the in overturn over there by AJ on this Kagura, but like I said, a little bit of an interesting battle on the bottom side. Carry more of that late game marksman. Clint also a little late skills over time. And this is the first time we've seen the full squad of only OTS, the full only the squad competing And I'm really excited to see how they kind of fare off against teams in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. We are looking at that Joy over there on ban, being slotted, not banned from the side of OTS. And I'm kind of scratching my head if they don't see Joy as much of a threat as the other teams do. Maybe having a possible counter to go up against it. Joy, one of those heroes who can kind of rush in and clear these minions, really good at proxying lanes and then getting out of those tricky situations. But speaking of tricky situations, looking at the side of Elite 10, already starting with an aggressive nature. Very heavy gank on the bottom side, but OTS with the defense to kind of hold them at bay. As we know, both teams are getting ready to hit that level 4 before this neutral objective to see if they can take it in their hands.
Absolutely. We do see that Martin is just kind of camping there right by the turtle, giving a lot of vision for the side of only the squad. And think they're now going to start moving over to the neutral objective turtle. And looks like the ballman is now just starting to head over. The rope is a little out of position for the side of Elite 10. That Matilda is just sitting there, but neutral turtle has still not been started yet. I see that Hylos was just trying to bother the ballman just a little bit, but we know that they were very, very successfully able to retreat. Now, I think that this turtle contest might be a little bit interesting because now they have Joy. Now Joy, like you said, Wheezy is very, very mobile, very, very tactical hero. I mean, it's very CC immune as long as she's dashing around with that sound of music there. And I think we're going to see a little bit of an interesting play here by both sides.
Interesting play, manipulation going down by Eve. Faith able to secure the turtle with the retribution over there on Ballman, which will give a slight advantage to the Elite 10. Speaking of advantage, AJ picking up a kill on Five Nights at Freddy's. Down goes Coach Deku for first blood, and that is a huge play for the side of Elite 10, which is going to go ahead and allow them some gold, up by 700 now, and also going to allow them to kind of invade and contest the farm for Freddy over there on that Martis. Now, interesting thing that I do see from the side of Elite 10, right? They don't have very big set potential. They do not have a front line who has CC capability. Yeah, you have the Yin Yang Overturn able to rush in and possibly get a pick off, but anything in terms of hardcore CC is not in their favor. Looking at the side of OTS, a little bit of a similar story, but one thing they do have is this Brazilian sauce on the Hylos. Probably going to use that glorious pathway, get a little bit of a single target CC as well. Maybe the game plan, but both teams kind of lacking in the CC department. But Five Nights at Freddy's with that Martis kind of picking it up with the Mortal Coil. Speaking of pickups, able to get the decimation on to the carry, and that is a 1 kill on their side now for 2 in the hands of Elite 10.
Absolutely, but well, like you said, there's no frontline for Elite 10, but we do have that Joy though, and even though Joy is not a frontliner, she's like very easy to be able to peel back to the very back line to help maybe pick off a little bit of that Eve or that Clint, which we definitely know is going to be able to backline, and with that Kagura can also aid that Joy to be able to peel through the backside and be able to help kill those backline players for that carry to be able to front just a little bit. And you know, as long as that carry has a front, is able to do anything pretty well.
Speaking of pretty well, you are seeing AJ pick up another kill onto Lubellion. Down goes the mage for the side of OTS. A little bit of that combination with Faith and that Yin Yang Overturn provided by AJ on that Kagura gave him that kill. Now 3-1. And this is kind of what happens when you don't have a lot of CC to protect you. You don't have a strong frontline presence. You're able to get a lot of pickoffs to the back line. So Brazilian Sauce definitely going to be kind of having to rotate around a lot to provide that utility for his team. And I'm wondering how effective it's going to be on this Hylos. Speaking of effective, Faith wasting no time is going to go ahead and try and evade the blue buff after taking the turtle. You are seeing the manipulation go down by Lubellion trying to get a kill, but look at Joy rushing in, just going ahead and doing that sound of music. Gonna go ahead and try and get a possible kill. Glorious pathway going out by Hylos to allow him to escape and get a recall. But while this is happening, you are seeing a little bit of a sandwich on the way from Goodnight and Five Nights at Freddy's over there on Meliodas and Faith. But looks like they're going to go ahead and proxy this lane as nobody went to help assist. And down goes the turret into the hands of Elite 10 with Heaven Blade kind of getting fed and stripping out that tower.
Absolutely beautiful zoning though by Ballman. And speaking of zoning, that character just did pick off that Martis on the enemy squad. A little bit of a disadvantage now for the side of OTS. Top did go down, unfortunately, from that Joy to be able to rotate to that bot lane and be able to help out their team. But as of gold-wise, just a 2k lead. It can kind of go anywhere from here now. And that Joy did pick up that glowing wand, and we already know glowing wand's very annoying, very aggressive item for any mages. Kagura did pick up the clock. Talk. That carry does have Windtalker now. Clint, not yet a damage core item, has built in for the squad of OTS. So very interesting marksman phase is going to happen starting from here on out. I do see that Ballman and Matilda rotating top now because bot doesn't have to be pressured anymore since that bot lane did get pushed up by that carry. Mid lane is still looking pretty fine though. I don't think any turrets have been touched in mid lane. Yeah, none of them has been touched. But now I think carry's going to do a little bit of that cleanup and try to be able to push that mid lane for Kagura.
Yeah, and you gotta watch out, right? Because it's gonna be a battle of which marksman can rev up faster. And right now, you're seeing Clint with just a little bit more gold. But Carry definitely one of those meta picks recently in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, dominating especially in the late game. So I'm excited to see who can do it a little bit better as we progress through today's match. Speaking of progression, you are seeing that turtle spawn in. Five Nights at Freddy's going ahead and clearing them in to create a split push and possibly an opportunity to go for this objective. But at the same time, you are seeing Faith make it a little bit faster over there and has a little bit more help from the Elite 10. And Ballman, one of those heroes who has that lethal counter and also that retribution, can kind of get the job done a little bit easier. But Mardis on the come up, kind of stealing the spot as one of the top junglers from Ballman in recent patches, able to have those mortar coils, that decimation when teams get low. But you are seeing Freddy kind of go to the bottom side to proxy that lane, possibly push it in. But it's going to allow another turtle into the hands of Elite 10. And the question is, was that really worth the trade? As now you are seeing a huge clash on the way, a 4v2 situation. Five Nights at Freddy's takes some serious damage and taken down by Heaven's Blade on the carry, and now they're going to be able to clear that minion. And not only that, but looking at OTS, they're winning even more by being able to push in that mid lane from the separation. So that is two objectives going into their hands. When you take that mid lane, you open up the map for more opportunity on these ganks and on real estate for what you're going to take next. So for the side of OTS, already down by 4 kills, down by a lot of gold right now too. Definitely need to play a little bit safer, but wait a minute. At least OTS, actually no, correction. OTS lost the turtle, but OTS took the mid tower. So that was a good trade-off. But in response, Elite 10 taking a tower of their own to kind of even out the scoreboard. So both teams able to kind of overextend now and create opportunity on the match. We have an opportunity though. Boop. Trying to use the mobility of Esmeralda and able to take down Ban on Joy. What an impressive play with that Falling Star Moon for additional CC. A little bit of that stun, Glorious Pathway going in, but AJ able to connect to Foop just in time to take him down with the Yin Yang overturn. Gonna go ahead and proxy or peel off of Brazilian Sauce with that umbrella.
Absolutely, and now it is all about objectives now. So Elite and OTS are actually neck and neck in towers, but the thing is, I honestly feel like Elite does have a little bit of an advantage with their turrets because they do have the mid lane down and the bot lane down, which is the marksman lane and the mid lane. So I don't see too much going on yet. I do see something very interesting though. Esmeralda ended up building Calamity Reaper, and I don't know the last time I've seen an Esmeralda build damage. I've always seen her build full tank, except for that mana book for that region on the mana, but besides that, I don't think I've ever seen Esmeralda build magic at all ever since the old patches of ML. But speaking of pickoffs,
You are seeing a clash on the way. Circling Eagle connecting on to Foop on this Esmeralda that we briefly spoke about. But wait a minute, can Esme escape in a tricky situation? And Meliodas is going to go ahead and secure that kill on that Mathilda. But you do see the 4-man knockup onto OTS from the Lord. Heaven's Blade trying to fend them off from taking it. And able to burst out Brazilian Sauce on that glorious pathway. But Five Nights at Freddy's able to secure that Lord. Rebellion getting a kill onto Heaven's Blade. Down goes Carry. Fight not over though. They are rushing in for more. You are seeing Faith getting a kill onto Five Nights at Freddy's for taking that Lord. You do see a little bit of recall by Good Night. But wait a minute, a little bit of good morning as they are going to try and burst him down as well. But making a fancy escape indeed, not even needing the flicker, just running right up that lane for the escape. But this is going to allow the side of Elite 10 to push in the tower, even though they lost that Lord. But definitely an interesting clash indeed. From the side of OTS, you won that Lord, but you lost a couple of members in that process and also lost an inner turret. So this is definitely a harder game, a little bit of that upscale battle now as we are progressing to that 10-minute mark, now hitting that mid game. And the question is, how will OTS kind of change up the game strategy as we progress to that late game?
Absolutely. And speaking of progression, honestly, in my opinion, when that Matilda and Ballman did end up ganking that Esmeralda, I honestly don't think it was too smart, because the ganking that lane is not their priority right now. It's an Esme, and although Esme is good for peeling and being able to frontline for their entire team, that Lord was already up. The neutral Lord objective was up. Could have given Elite a little bit of a upper hand advantage to be able to push up those turrets, but now in response to that, since they did lose that Lord, OTS is definitely now going to start pushing in and be able to take down those turrets, and now it ended up being a 3-3 even trade out of the turret. And speaking of trading,
You are seeing some serious damage go down. You do see the manipulation over there by Eve, but a kill going into the hands of AJ, bursting down Brazilian Sauce. Down goes the Roam for the side of OTS. Leave the counter connecting. Heaven's Blade with the Speedy Light Wheel is going to go ahead and take down Eve, and that is 2 members down for the side of OTS. But on the top side, you are seeing Fruit apply some pressure, trying to strip down this tower. Not taking any damage to Joy right now in the XP lane, and my goodness, what beautiful gameplay we are seeing from this Esmeralda right now. Just being a huge distraction for the side of OTS. They were able to pick up a tower on that bottom side as there was 2 people focused on bursting down Esme. But speaking of bursting down, Elite 10 wasting no time taking a tower of their own. It's going to go ahead and secure that inner turret for the mid lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And props to that Esme, though, has been able to keep up her lane pretty well for now 12 minutes. And I'm pretty sure now that top turret is going to get pushed down. And now everyone's just starting to hurdle over to the top lane to be able to push that down. But I think OTS really just wants that top turret up. I mean, even turret trades, so... But Elite does have a little bit of an upper hand with turrets. It's currently 4-3 trade. I still see that Esmeralda still building damage, and I think she's going to build that into an Ice Queen wand. And for that carry, all damage, she actually ended up building Antique, and I'm guessing it's for that Clint and that Martis. But definitely, I would have maybe built Athena for that Eve and that Esmeralda, since that Esmeralda is building damage. So very interesting for the marksman side of Elite 10.
Yeah, definitely interesting indeed, kind of looking at these builds. You're looking at Joy. At least Joy picked up the Dominance Ice for a little bit of that anti-heal. But you are seeing a push into this Lord as they were able to take 2 towers on the top side into the hands of Elite 10. And now it's going to leave the side of OTS down to their inhibitors. And not wasting any time, goes right for the next objective. And that is going to be this Lord play. And the question is who gets it, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like Heaven's Blade is going to go ahead and secure that on that carry. Now, in terms of insurance, it's looking really good for the side of Elite 10. They have a couple of inner turrets to protect them. Yeah, the top lane got stripped down to the inhibitor, but looking at their opposing side, they only have their inhibitors. Not only their inhibitors, but they have to go up against this Lord as well. And the question is, how will they defend against it? And also another question is, how will the side of Elite 10 operate with it? As you are seeing a Falling Star Moon onto AJ, a little bit of an overextension on the backline. Mates, not the place you want to be, especially with the Luminous Lord pushing in, and down he goes. And that is a good read on Foop to kind of realize that separation. This is a backline. What are you doing on my side of the jungle by yourself? And that is exactly what happens when you do that. Speaking of happening though, Glorious Pathway connecting. You are seeing Falling Star Moon not able to hit the mark, but OTS with a fast response is going to go ahead and burst down this Lord. Did you see Heaven Blade going in with that carry, hit by the manipulation over there by Lebellion? Is it enough to stop the team though? Everybody able to dash out, and that is going to be a lot of utility used for the side of OTS, but they got what they wanted off that trade, able to burst down that Luminous Lord and maintain their pressure on the map.
Absolutely, and I just want to focus real quick before anything gets too hectic here. Late game, I honestly feel like OTS does have the advantage with that Clint being able to backline. And I'm not sure yet because, I think that Joy just kind of overextended there, but Joy is able to get out with that mobility. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Joy was able to get off. Speaking of pickoffs, that Bomba did just pick off that Martis, but fortunately, in response, that Joy did get picked off here.
Speaking of pickoffs, not really the play you want over there on Martis. Yeah, you could have got the kill possibly with the decimation, but you got to think about what happens after that. You're forcing your team into a fight with no towers on your side minus your inhibitors, and also your team down by 4,000 gold. And now that's going to give the advantage to Elite 10, as this is what they kind of wanted. Joy not really having the biggest factor for the team, but it's the team behind Joy that makes it work. Speaking of work, you see Ballman getting a kill onto Brazilian Sauce. Down goes that Hylos Roam. And now an awkward position for the side of OTS. They got to stay in at that base. They do not have the numbers nor the gold to take this fight. And so this is what we kind of said. You have to play a little safer, especially knowing what your role is. As the jungler, you don't want to overextend. You do not want to give an easy kill to yourself. And you do not want to force your team onto a clash they're not ready to take. Definitely need to play a little bit safer as they only have their inhibitors, and they need to wait for the side of OTS to be overly aggressive. Once they make a mistake, capitalize off it. Yeah, was it a mistake with Joy rushing into that Nexus? Of course. But as soon as Joy ran out of that Nexus, it was almost as if he threw a hook in the water and snatched up a Martis for his team. Not just a Martis, the jungler from the enemy team. So definitely need to just be a little bit more careful on your decisions going forward.
Both sides, I mean, here do have to be careful, like you said, Wheezy. I mean, one thing that Elite 10 lacks is CC, and the one thing OTS lacks is, honestly, in my opinion, just a synergy play. I mean, those towers are just knocking off one by one. That Joy is looking for a potential push for an inhibitor. It looks like she is going to get that inhibitor. Actually, oh, they did actually end up defending it, but it leaves that one inhibitor in shackles, very, very close to be taken down as soon as any marksman just basic smacks that inhibitor. But yeah, the one thing that each side lacks is CC for Elite, and then just the team engagement, the team pull for the side of OTS. And with that Esme building damage, don't know too much because not gonna have too much peel, and I don't know about that. But speaking of peeling,
oh, you are seeing the Lord go into the hands of OTS. A good steal. It's going to kind of turn the tide in their favor. Manipulation going down just in time, trying to take out the remaining members of Elite 10. Five Nights at Freddy's with Decimation takes out Faith. Down goes Ballman, and that's going to force Heaven Blade and Meliodas on the retreat. And now, looking at the side of OTS, they have taken the Lord into their hands to kind of turn this tide around. And also, they have taken that inhibitor on the top side with that split push provided over there by Foop on this Esmeralda. Definitely a huge play. And this is what you got to do. One of the things where Esmeralda shines is split pushing and creating opportunity on these neutral objectives. And not only did he create the opportunity, they took the neutral objective into the hands of OTS as well. And now that's going to allow them to live to see another day and possibly get a comeback inside of this game, possibly be able to steal some real estate on the map, probably pushing in some of these inner turrets as they have synced the lanes with the Lord as well. And this is exactly where you want to be if you're trying to come back. Now, the question is, how does the side of Elite 10 respond as you are seeing a possible clash on the way? Inner turret for the mid lane has been pushed in by the side of OTS. 5-man stack in the mid. Now going to kind of wrap around with the Lord. Do you see Foop rushing in? Meliodas taking some serious damage to that Eve over there on that manipulation. Down goes Meliodas. The support for the side of Elite 10, but fight not over. Hylo's taking down that tower, but you do see Faith going in and taking out Goodnight, the marksman for the side of OTS, and now they're in an awkward situation where they have to retreat as they do not have a marksman in play, but wait a minute. Five Nights at Freddy's finding a way in with that decimation and taking down Ban, just rushing too far behind the enemy team of OTS, and that is going to be a 1-for-2 trade. Only losing one member for the side of OTS, but taking not only an inner turret in the mid lane, but also an inhibitor in that process, and definitely a huge win for that clash.
absolutely, but keep in mind now, even though Joy did die here, that Joy was actually able to pick off so far back that it gave their team a little bit of time. It bought the Elite 10's team a little bit of time to be able to regroup, kind of be able to clear those minions, be able to reset those lanes as much as they can, all because that Joy was actually able to peel. And with that peeling being forced onto their marksman, it caused the Hylos and the Eve to actually fall back from actually prioritizing the next turret from the side of Elite 10. And look at here, if you see on these items here, we just see that Joy just sold her shoes for, I'm guessing, a defense item. But everyone's pretty much lit full build. I think that Martis is now starting to build maybe a defense item, for sure. It is a damage Martis though, so I don't know if that Martis is going to maybe go Immortality or another damage item. Carry is also at full build. Same with that Clint, but Gold is kind of not too far off from that Carry and that Clint. But I see none of them picked up Wind, which is actually pretty interesting because even if they had Wind, I mean, Carry can easily counter that Martis and that Clint as long as that Martis is an ult, obviously, because that ult deals true damage. So probably not the ult, but that thing should still be a little bit of a favor towards Elite 10. But besides that, I don't know. But Esmeralda, the damage is actually holding up pretty well, and I'm actually pretty surprised that damage Esme is working here.
Speaking of damage, though, you are seeing AJ, a little bit of a backdoor possible play with this Kagura, but wasting his position has now been spotted. But speaking of spotted, though, you do see Ban over there on that Joy taking some serious damage, forced to kind of go back and regroup. And now, with the separation, OTS wasting no time. Is going to go ahead and try and secure this Lord. They know this is the objective they need to possibly close this game out. It worked really well in their favor the last time, but the question is, will it happen again? You are seeing Elite 10 trying to find a way in, trying to find a pathway to this Lord, but not in time, as Five Nights at Freddy's securing that retribution. And ladies and gentlemen, even though the scoreboard is 16-8, they are up in gold and also up in towers now. What a huge turnaround for the side of OTS. And the question is, can they close it out? Definitely a mistake on the side of Elite 10 as they had all the pressure, all the momentum. But when it came to the late game, they had a little bit more trouble closing it out. And OTS definitely being the stronger side passing this 20-minute mark.
Absolutely. Now, all Elite 10 has to do right now is being able to try to focus, get the team group together to be able to somehow defend these turrets. Mind you, Elite 10 top and mid turret inhibitors down. So now with that Lord stomping in that mid lane, might be a little bit of trouble, but I hope that they can defend it. Looking for a small mistake, like we always say, small mistakes can lead to a huge snowball. And speaking of snowballing,
You see a victory possibly on the way for OTS, but can Elite 10 hold them off as Lord is crashing into the Nexus? Speaking of crashing in, down goes the manipulation by Lubellion, getting a kill onto AJ. Lord getting bursted down in that process though, but Five Nights at Freddy's trying to get the decimation. Lubellion getting another kill, is going to take down Joy. Heaven's Blade taking down Martis, down goes the jungler, but ladies and gentlemen, down goes the Nexus, and only the squad has taken the game with the epic comeback.
Victory!
beautiful play. Now, very interesting play. Those team fights were actually very well done, but for this side of Elite 10, even though they were ahead in gold, even though they were ahead in kills, even though they were ahead in everything, neutral objectives all came in the favor of OTS for sure. Now we see that Esme getting picked up with that MVP, and we do see that Esme building damage. I mean the scores look like the scores that every role should be taken up and picked up by. We do see that CAG though. That CAG did have really good sustain, 626 for that mage. Beautiful play by that CAG. I don't see anything too out of the ordinary here. The good anti-heal picked up by the side of Elite 10. I do see 3 people have built Dami. So that the lifesteal that's coming from that Martis and that Esme isn't happening, but it just fell a little bit off short. And that Martis was 3-6, so that early game was kind of a little bit of a struggle for the junglers for the side of OTS. But in response to that, we do have the Esme with that beautiful peel, beautiful damage coming in for the side of OTS. Very well played for both teams, but victory will go into the hands of OTS.
Definitely a good victory indeed. But ladies and gentlemen, that is only the battle. That is not the war. This is a best of 3 for the first series of the day. That's right. We are watching the Elite 10 versus Only the Squad, a team that I originally started way back when I was on my grind to be a #1 in the world. But falling short at top 32. Maybe we'll get back sooner than later. But speaking of getting back, an epic comeback from the side of OTS, and this is what you want to see. When your back's up against the wall, you have a bunch of pressure, you got to make diamonds, and that's what they did today. An insane and amazing performance on the side of OTS for game 1. But like you said, this is a best of 3, and the question is, how will Elite 10 move going forward? Find out, get some popcorn, get some drinks, and we'll be right back with you guys for game 2.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
you from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, never wanna forget. To forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway. Yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn. We are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and today we are on Series 1, Match 2. Only the squad, a team that I used to play with and compete on a professional level, but with some new names in the house, a little bit of that legacy carrying on. Able to get a win, their first win over Elite 10, a veteran team for the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. So super excited to see how this progresses moving on to Match 2. The question is, can only the squad, their first time ever playing in the MLSA as a full team, be able to get a sweep on one of those teams that's been a vet here since day one, the Elite 10? As we are progressing through the day, a little bit of a look at the schedule. We have the Elite 10 versus only the squad right now, currently on Match 2 in a best of 3. Series 2, Nefarious versus Blacklist International with the American Queen. And then to finish it off, Series 3, Excellent Era versus Tang Dynasty. Said, super excited going forward. But speaking of going forward, we are going to be seeing Elite 10 trying to get a possible comeback against only the squad. Is if they lose this game, they'll be knocked out. Speaking of knocked out, speaking of this game, speaking of all these amazing things, I'm going to be co-casting alongside Eunice. How you doing?
Hello, hello. All right, I do see the draft phase now. Looks like, whoa, Masha got banned. Very interesting. Okay. I didn't expect that ban to be popped in for the side of OTS, but I mean, if they, whatever they do, they gotta do their little thing, right? So I do see that Valentina picked up, already forced into every single ult that I can think of on the side of Elite 10. I mean, that Famous ult is definitely going to come in clutch. I do see a Diggy being picked up, probably for that Fredrin CC, and Coach Deku and I, we were talking, that Fredrin is a walking Petri, so very nice pickup by the side of OTS, but I do see a late game scaling heroes, all late game, that Leslie pickup, that Cecilian pickup, and that, who is that, Martis? On the second, yeah, so that is Martis. So even though they might struggle just a tad bit late game is definitely going to be in the hands of Elite 10. They do have a Sicilian, a stacking mage. They do have a scaling marksman as well. But I'm still gonna give my fairgrounds. They still have that Yuzong for that backline peel. They do have that Valentina. Valentina gets disgustingly I hate Valentinas. That CC coming from the Valentina is going to be there as well. Carmilla CC is also going to be a big thing, and they do have a front for that Yuzong. Now, when I've been streaming and casting with Deku here, the one issue that we found with people going Carmilla jungle was they just didn't have the right teams, the right draft to be able to execute that Carmilla ult. And Carmilla's only there for that CC. It's the rest of the team to kind of follow up and help and be able to do something with this Carmilla ult. So we're going to see what happens here. They do have a really good marksman. They have that Clint. That got drafted by OTS, and I do see that Leslie, but Leslie is a late game scaling hero. Might struggle just a little bit in the early phase compared to Clint, because Clint is the master of poking. So we're gonna definitely have to see how they're planning on moving on from here on out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see which way this match goes. As we know, if only the squad closes this one out, this will be a sweep. Not only a sweep, but this is their first time competing in the MLSA, so I'm trying to rate exactly where I see them compared to other teams who are competing today and also been competing throughout the weeks as well. But something interesting to kind of point out, Foop is going to be playing this Yuzong. Now, we've seen Foop kind of dominate with that Esmeralda. I really want to see how he does going into Fredrin, one of those more meta picks that we see even more often than, you know, an Esme or even a Joy when that's usually banned out. But speaking of bans, looking at Martis, allowed to be slotted into the hands of Faith, wondering if the side of OTS has a plan for this, as we know how deadly he can be. He was even on OTS's team last game and was able to get a lot of those decimations off by Freddy, Coach Deku himself, to get some of these neutral objectives. But speaking of objectives, we are seeing Foop on this Yuzong, and I do know one thing. If you are Sicilian, you have to play careful, as his main focus is going to be using that Black Dragon to kind of drop in on that backline. Go for this Sicilian, and also go for Heaven's Blade on this Leslie. Speaking of these marksmen, need a little bit prioritization from their team on a possible gank to delay these marksmen from being that late game damage dealer that you need. But speaking of damage dealing, do you see Mortal Coil's combo with the decimation over there on Faith, able to secure a kill on to Diggy. What a play. Down goes Brazilian Sauce, and this is exactly what we were talking about. When you let that Martis work his ultimate, it's very hard to kind of contest, and also kind of has me scratch my head and say, are you sure that's the pick you want to allow walk? But I will say something about them, right? You took this Valentina. Not only do you have a Valentina, but you have the IMU to be able to steal any ultimate on the board. You can pull out Meliodas' Cult Altar, kind of save your team when things get tricky. But speaking of tricky, Heaven's Blade getting the kill onto Brazilian Sauce. That is 2 kills on the support so far. 0, 2, and 0 KDA. And then the Ultimate Sniper coming out and killing Clint in that process. Fine, that's Freddy though. In the distance, the separation is gonna go ahead and clear that turtle. But Elite 10 not really too worried about it, as they were able to take 2 kills and strip this tower of gold.
Absolutely. Looks like the Elite 10 is actually going to hyper prioritize their marksman. And since, like I said earlier, Leslie kind of struggles early game. She does shine her brightest at the very end when she ends up getting all her damage items. But for now, it's against the Clint. So might be a little bit of a struggle to be able to lane properly with that Clint there. Items-wise, I do not see anything too big going on. I do see that Clint building into that endless battle. And I do see that Leslie building Berserkers as well. But nothing too crazy yet is going on for either sides. But for now, everything looks pretty good. Sicilian is kind of stuck in the mid lane and can't really rotate like too much. Like obviously, yes, Mage will rotate and do their little thing, but Sicilian needs to actually focus on getting stacks. And in order to get stacks, you do need to be hitting stuff and like smacking everything you can pretty much see without losing your mana too much. And as soon as Sicilian starts to die way too much, it is going to be an issue. And speaking of dying,
do see a kill go into the hands of OTS right there, and down goes Samurai on that Fredrin in the XP lane. Definitely an impressive play over there by Foop. We've seen kind of shine as that fighter for only the squad, especially how we've seen him kind of dominate that Joy. So you need to be a little bit more safer if you're Fredrin over there. One of the things about running in the XP lane is you don't always have to win the 1v1 fight. Speaking of fights, Five Nights Freddy's getting a kill onto Meliodas, and a little bit of an answer back. It's going to go ahead and not only strip the gold off this tower, but the 4-stack OTS is going to go ahead and take that tower into their hands on the gold lane. A little bit of that hyper prio for their marksman, but Faith in the mid lane, wasting no time. Going to go ahead and use Martis, get that passive proc to get additional attack speed and strip all the gold off of the mid lane.
beautiful response by the side of Elite 10, but they still took down the turret for the side of OTS, and that just happened to be the marksman lane. Now, speaking of laning phases, now we're going to probably focus onto that Yuzong and that Fredrin. Fredrin's going to be a little bit of a struggle here because he did lose lane, died once already, so a little bit of a struggle here, but they're trying to take a neutral objective turtle. They're just waiting for that Carmilla to do something, but speaking of doing something,
Flash going out, time journey activated, Cold Altar as well from that Faramis. Good night, get a kill on to Fredrin. Brazilian Sauce getting a kill as well. Finest Freddy taking out Faith, but Turtle was reset in the process. 3 members down for the side of Elite 10, and now you're seeing OTS kind of prio this objective with no contest. Definitely the trade they wanted, and now this is going to open up the door for them to stack up not only in gold, but also neutral objectives and possibly take another tower as they already took the one on the bottom lane. And look, you already see Foop, that excellent macro rotating and trying to go for that inner turret. Wow, good night. A little bit of a mirror effect is going to go ahead and close in on this top tower for the XP lane.
so both sides are actually getting pushed up now. Top and bot are getting pushed up, but the Yuzong's definitely going to be pressured back. And speaking of pressured back, that Valentina did just pick up that Faramis, but Faramis' cooldown is pretty fast, but looks like he doesn't have too many stacks to be came back instantly, so he should be slotted back very soon. But speaking of items, we don't see anything too much yet. We are still not yet at the 10-minute mark, but I do see that Cliff did pick up that Endless Battle, so we should be a little bit in an okay phase now, starting from here on out. Gold lead definitely higher up towards the cleanse on OTS. And speaking of pickoffs, that Sicilian did get picked off. Now, Sicilian needs to stay alive to get those stacks. No matter how much damage items you have, if those stacks aren't there, he's not going to be able to proc the full damage he's supposed to. Speaking of picking off and procking.
There goes Foop with that Black Dragon trying to drop down on Goodnight, but Goodnight getting a kill on the Meliodas, but responded back by Foop's going to take down the marksman, get to that back line. You are seeing Lebelny getting a kill on to Fredrin, and a double kill on to Goodnight, taking out Faith. And that is 4 members down for the side of oh my goodness, I can't see the squad name, Elite 10, and what a play indeed. I would say only the squad is kind of on fire right now, right? We've seen them win a little bit of a trade on this turtle, and then they made the most of it, able to take that top tower, push in the mid lane, and now work for that inner turret, and also increase the kill lead by a total of 7 kills right now. Looking at their gold, up by about 5,000 as well, and this is very impressive for a team first time competing in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. I have to give it to them. They definitely have the synergy, they have the focus, and now the question is, can they close it out with a sweep?
Absolutely. It's actually a pretty beautiful response by the side of OTS. I mean, in the early phase, that Clint was just getting pretty much harassed the entire, like, couple minutes of the early game. We almost thought that the top turret was going to be down within the first 5, but with that beautiful response, they were able to be like, no, this is my court, this is where I stand. And with that response back, they did take down that gold turret in mid-turn, and everything just started to snowball there. We do see a neutral objective turtle just came up. Looks like it's going to fall into the side of OTS now. The thing is with Elite 10 now, they can't do too much of team fights at the moment. They do need damage being picked up by both sides. And speaking of picked up, that Leslie did just pick up that Windtalker with that Berserkers. That Clint now has Malefic. Malefic has direct pen for the backline. For any fronts that he has to deal with is definitely going to be there. And that top, the bot turret for OTS did go down, so now Elite is only left with the inhibitor turrets on their side of the bot lane. I do see that Faramis just popped the ults. But besides that, everything's going to be fine, and I think now from here on out, Elite just has to look for a mistake. I think that's all they can count on right now. They can't do pickoffs, there's no damage there, so now they just have to rely on OTS to make a mistake. But would OTS make a mistake? We're going to have to find out with that Lord being picked up on the side of OTS.
Yeah, definitely need to just pay attention to how they move, right? A lot of teams, when they have this huge advantage, they kind of flop it and make these aggressive plays, and that is what Elite 10 needs to kind of bank on right now. I know one thing for sure, they do not want to be the team that makes a mistake, because if you do, we will be seeing a possible early game finish into the hands of OTS with the momentum that they are showing today. You are seeing Clinton work his way up that top lane to take an inner turret, and I'm not even sure if the side of Elite 10 can stop this, as you are seeing Five Nights at Freddy's kind of maintain that pressure, that frontline presence with that Carmilla to force them into that base, and an impressive play indeed. And that's going to go into the hands of Goodnight. Down goes the inner turret for the top side, and it's going to leave the side of Elite 10 down to their inhibitors. Now, with this being said, The question is, can this three-legged table stand for the side of Elite 10, or will we see a hatchet come out from OTS for the early finish, as you are seeing that Bats Feast possibly gonna maybe be procced by AJ, Sicilian being that late game mage. The later this goes, there's still some insurance inside of the hands of Elite 10, but they have to last for the late game. And I don't think with the side of OTS, the way they're playing, looks like they have other plans. I do know one thing's for certain over there on Good Night, that 3-1-5 KDA definitely doing an amazing job right now. If you even see how much gold he has 8,700 gold compared to 6,000 on Leslie. So definitely gonna win when it comes to these fights. You're seeing this Diggy having a harder time, especially in the early game. We've seen Diggy get picked off a lot. Speaking of pick-offs, Faith again rushing in with the decimation, but Cole Alter has a saving grace for Brazilian Sauce. He's going to go ahead and escape that situation. Curse of Blood activated by Carmilla over there by Freddy's, but wait a minute. Good Night getting a kill onto Faith. The double kill, taking out Meliodas. 2 members down for the side of Elite 10, leaving only Sicilian on AJ and Samurai to kind of defend in the Nexus, while Heaven Blade pushed in that tower.
Absolutely, but the Lord did favor the top line side, and usually when it comes to Lords, you don't want to actually clear minions that comes on the Lord side. You actually want to match up the minions that are not in the side of Lord's favor, or if you are going to, you kind of have to watch the other lanes at the same time and try to push at the exact same time. So you see they're not trying to push too fast with those minions, but we can now see it is a 3-lane crash down onto the side of Elite 10. And we're just gonna have to wait for a mistake. I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens.
Definitely gonna see what happens as Lord is making his way to this top inhibitor, but looks like a little bit of a response. Curse of Blood going in by 5 Nights to Freddy's, rushing in for a tower dive. Black Dragon going down. Petrify activated. Poop getting a kill onto Heaven's Blade with the Shaw Essence, but you are seeing Bats Feast activated from Sicilian, trying to push off the team of OTS from closing this out. You do see Mortal Coils activated over there by Faith on this Martis, but it's not enough to hold back the team of OTS. They are going to take another inhibitor in that mid lane, and now all inhibitors have been stripped, leaving them defenseless. And can the 4 members of the side of Elite 10 hold off the full team of Only the Squad, as they are going for an early finish? Faith takes some serious damage. It's going to force to use that Mortar Coils back into the base to get some HP. And now a little bit of a turnaround. Wait a minute, a lot of members have got a little bit more additional health to maintain in this fight. And this is the advantage you have with the base on your side. And now you are seeing OTS have to disengage. But Heaven Blade with Ultimate Sniper is going to go ahead and take down Foop. Man, oh man, yes, they won that fight, but you have to look at what they lost inside of that clash. They lost every single inhibitor turret. And what does this mean? This means they cannot afford any mistakes, or you are going to see the side of Only the Squad close out this game. Only the Squad still hanging on to their inner turrets for the top and the bottom lane, and also holding on to the entire lane for the mid. Definitely having a lot of insurance to work with, and they can afford a mistake here. Like we said, Elite 10 having to tread water and kind of be careful how they move going forward, as we are progressing to that 13-minute mark, slowly creeping from this early game to that late game. One thing they do have in their advantage, though, they have AJ on the Sicilian. Yeah, it didn't work out too well for them in the early game, but the longer this game goes, the more stacks he is going to have. Possibly going to later on pick up that Divine Glaive to kind of pierce the Athena shields that have been picked up by Yuzong, Diggy, you know, and possibly more members as we do go further in. You are seeing Carmilla build a little bit of magic defense as well now. So like we said, the later this game goes, if you allow it to hit that 16-minute mark, between that 16 to that 20-minute mark, Sicilian definitely will come online and be a major threat that the side of OTS has to focus on. Speaking of threats, we are seeing Lord kind of spawn in, a little bit of coverage around it from the side of Only the Squad, and it looks like they're in a great position to kind of push this. But wait a minute, they're just kind of running around, maybe talking about it. It looks like they are going to decide to engage on it. This is one of the cool things. When minions are pushing in, and you have the pressure on the lanes, you can see through your minion's eyes. So anything your minion sees, your team sees. And realizing that the whole team of Elite 10 was down in their base clearing minions allowed the side of Only the Squad to kind of push in this Lord with no problems.
Speaking of threats, though, OTS actually has to be careful now with that Sicilian being able to grab up on those stacks. I do see Sicilian build Dami, though, so he's probably should have a little bit of more sustain. The anti-heal coming in beautifully by the side of Elite 10, but OTS still has to be careful. Those back lines might be a little bit of an issue, because as soon as the front line goes down, which is going to be the Carmilla and the Yuzong, that Sicilian's going to start smacking people back left and right. So that's going to be a little bit of an issue for OTS. But now I can't put too much hope here yet, because the Elite 10 still can come around if they do find one mistake from the side of OTS. But are we going to see that mistake? We're going to have to stay here and find out right about now.
And speaking of finding out, Black Dragon going in by Food for a possible pickoff. Cold Alter activated from the side of Elite 10, but it isn't enough to sustain the team as the Nexus is dropping with the swiftness, and game goes to only the squad. Not only the game, but ladies and gentlemen, they have taken the series.
Victory!
Oh, absolutely. No, looking at these scores, I don't know. I mean, they did have that Sicilian there, but fell off a little bit short. Now, we do see that Valentina with a 2-0-11 KDA, and we do see a huge goal difference between that Clint and that Leslie. I mean, nobody on the side of Elite 10 has even hit the 10K mark, which gave them a little bit of a disadvantage when it came to items and prioritizing team fights. Beautiful play by the side of OTS. Looks like, oh, look at that tower push coming in from the side of OTS at Clint with 59% team fight. And damage actually came in from the side of Diggy. I don't know if you guys have noticed that Diggy was actually building I think hybrid, and that Diggy did have a mage emblem, so any stacks with his bombs he was gonna do definitely will have been picked up. And that Valentina with the 93% team fight, I mean, that Valentina was running around the map everywhere with the rest of his team. I do see a little bit of tower push coming in from that Martis, same with that Leslie. Leslie 100% team fight participation, but just fell off a little bit short when it came to that laning phase, so good job to both teams. Beautiful response by the team of OTS from the early game. Beautiful response by Elite 10 when it came to tower exchanges. But the win is definitely going to be in the side of OTS. Congratulations to you, OTS. Well played.
Definitely well played indeed. And like you said, this is their first match we've ever seen them compete in for the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. And got a little bit of tears to my eyes as I used to play for that team. It was actually when I was up and coming, trying to go professional as a pro player and also pro coach. We created the Only the Squad and had a really awesome time with it. Shout out to all the members that kind of played on it. We also placed top 32 and almost top 16 the next time for the fall season, but taken down by Ackerman, which is another team you guys will see competing in the MLSA as we progress through the weeks. But like we said, to see that legacy kind of continue over there and also be able to provide a win definitely puts a smile to my face. So congratulations, guys. Shout out to the Elite 10 for competing as well. The whole purpose of this, guys, is to get these teams prepared for NA MPL. That's right. It's right around the corner, and we're trying to get you guys ready for any NA events that are going to rise on the occasion for 2023. Like I said, today is a best of 3, and we have 3 series. Looking at today's schedule, Elite 10 versus Only the Squad. Only the Squad first time playing, able to prevail with a 2-0 fashion, taking that sweep. Nefarious versus Blacklist for Series 2, the American Queen. The question is who will take that game. And then to close out the day, we are going to be seeing excellent era up against Tang Dynasty. So definitely have some bangers on the way. Grab some popcorn, get some drinks. We'll be right back with you guys for Series 2.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, never, never wanna forget. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
you from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, never, never wanna forget. Forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Woo! Being in when you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn, and we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. Today is the day. We have an insane match ahead of us. We've seen a crazy series between the Elite 10 versus only the squad. With only the squad, first time competing and able to knock out Elite 10 with a sweep. And now, for Series 2, we are going to be seeing Nefarious versus Blacklist International, fighting in a best of 3. And then to finish it off for today, we are going to be seeing Excellent Era versus Tang Dynasty. Speaking of the match going forward, though, Blacklist versus Nefarious. A little bit of a rundown on both of these teams. Blacklist International, a team that showed up out of nowhere last week with the American Queen on their side, is going to be going up against Nefarious, a team that has more seniority in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. But one thing about Blacklist is when they showed up, they did not disappoint. Definitely a team you have to watch out for, as they took out a lot of veteran teams. But Nefarious, one of those teams who took the first record ever in King of the Hill with 4 wins in a row, only beaten by Ackerman with that record now holding 7. Today we are also going to be casting alongside Master Rim on the analyst side of things. How you doing today?
I'm great. I'm really happy to hop into this match and see these two powerhouse teams run it down, compete against each other, and give us a show in today's Land of Dawn. And speaking of giving us a show here, looking at the draft phase, we see the side of Blacklist International taking out the Valentina and the Akai. Some standard bans, but still strong in their own right. Speaking of strong bans, we do see Fanny being banned out, another good ban, because as we've seen, when teams let her through and they don't have an answer for her, she can wreak havoc in the match. And speaking of things wreaking havoc, it is Joy. We saw the Joy being allowed in some games, previously. And I remember in the early days of the academy, we were thinking that she's going to be one of those heroes that we're never going to see make an appearance. However, these teams were like, okay, maybe we've seen her enough and we kind of have an answer for her, so we're okay with letting her through. And she has done well in the match. I don't think that she has a higher win percentage over pick percentage, but nonetheless, it's been some beautiful performances. And speaking of things that can offer some beautiful performances, that Kaja, we know that Divine Judgment can be very, very deadly. We're not into the whips and chains here, so he's gonna get banned out, and it's a great ban to be taken out within the first phase of the draft here.
That's right. What is it? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me.
Exactly.
As we are jumping into this match, looking at the bans, right? You've seen that Fanny taken out. Not the worst move from Blacklist, and I think it's a smart strategy for a lot of teams who have first pick, as you don't know if there's a secret weapon on the side of Nefarious who's a possible cable master, and Fanny, one of those few heroes that will require a team to kind of work against it. Fanny's one of those heroes that kind of separates the difference in Mythic Glory 1000 and Mythic Glory 2000. Definitely showing more Fanny players on the higher elo of things. So respectable for the side of Blacklist to kind of take that out. Thinking about Blacklist as well, taking out that Akai, taking out that Valentina. Not the worst decision. Akai, not really too sure about, but it's not the worst option. And you are going to see Venus lock in this Faramis. Now, looking at the side of Nefarious, taking out that Kaja, That's okay. Definitely a meta pick, something you need to take out because it's very hard to deal with, especially with that Divine Judgment rushing in to kind of get a pick off on any hero of your choice with that suppression, and also that Ring of Order for that AoE damage. Very hard to close the distance on a Kajin. Also a beautiful flex pick to slot in for that first pick of the day. So I think that's a smart draft, a smart read for the side of Nefarious, and then also taking out the Martis as well. We know how deadly that decimation can be. We've seen Martis in 2 games in a row in Series 1, seeing how crazy that was. Speaking of crazy, though, taking out that Joy, another hero that we've seen starting to kind of show up more and sliding through these bans, but this time being taken down by the side of Nefarious. And now we're going to look at what do you get from these bans, right? You get the Faramis for that Cold Altar, that sustainability to be able to keep your team in when things get a little bit tricky, a little bit of that second life. But looking at the side of Nefarious, they respond directly with a Cho. Now, is that the right decision? Time will tell. Cho is definitely one of those heroes can be flex pick. We've seen Cho Jungle, we've seen Cho Tank, we've seen Cho XP. Not the worst option, but then you see Utsukushi. We're definitely just going to be calling him Sophia today. Locking in that Kagura with that flicker. Now, am I a fan of Kagura? I definitely am. Can rush in with the Yin Yang Overturn, that umbrella, and get some quick burst potential from a bush for a possible pick off when you catch enemies off guard. But is it the right answer here? Yeah, you have the mobility to get away with that Cold Altar does activate, but I'm not sure if that's the right choice. Now, things that can be slotted still. Atlas is still in play. Diggy hasn't been banned, and Akai has been banned. And if Nefarious does not take up this Atlas, I'm really going to scratch my head on this draft. As you are seeing Lauren Supremacy lock in that Lapu Lapu. Oh my goodness! Locking in the Beatrix and just allowing that Atlas to walk is surprising, but maybe just trying to get one of those meta marksmen to work in their favor that can scale all the way from the early to the late game, especially when you're going up against one of those top marksmen such as a Leslie.
Absolutely, and it's a very interesting point that you brought up about them allowing the Atlas to slide you. And I think the reason why Nefarious is probably so comfortable to give up such a strong pick, especially when they had the ban phase in their favor, they could have locked the Atlas and banned out the D, so they would have free reign to get these fatal links. But if you look at the side of Nefarious, they do have these mobile heroes aside from the Beatrix, but not so much because all 3 of them have some type of disruption. They have the dashes, and they also have poke coming into an Atlas that will potentially try to engage on your team. So these picks are what I would call selfish yet confident heroes, and I like that. Personally, I played in Rance last night, and I was Kagura against the Faramis, and I can 100% confirm from personal experiences that she is able, once she gets a perfect bush camp and she's fast enough with her combo, she can melt the Faramis down before he even gets the opportunity to let that Cold Altar give his team a second chance at revival in these team fights. Speaking of team fights, this Lapu Lapu has been such an insane and game-changing pick throughout the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy these past few weeks and in the overall semester. I can't remember which team was the first team that put him on the map that made these other teams realize, okay, well, damn, we've been sleeping on this pick, but he actually has so much potential. He could 1v1, he could distract the team, as well as he could possibly 1v5 as long as he picks up his sustain from that Bloodless Act with probably 1 or 2 defense items, and he still has the damage to match up with his sustain. So it's a pretty and solid and strong pick for the XP lane here. Speaking of solid and strong picks, the locking in the Leslie, already securing that late game scaling with that marksman pickup. Her true damage, it doesn't matter which tank you pick up against her, as long as you allow the side of Blacklist International to scale into that late game, she's still going to deal damage. And that's the thing, you have to put respect on marksmen such as Leslie and carries, especially if you're planning on going the more tankier defensive route. And speaking of tanky route here, they do lock in the Atlas on the side of Nefarious here. But it's a good pick because the side of Blacklist did ban out the Diggy for them. So that was a great read for the side of Nefarious.
Now, kind of looking at this, right? I think they wanted them to take Atlas all along. When they banned the Akai, I think that was bait for the Atlas to be picked up. And then they didn't, with a little bit of surprise. But banning out that Diggy, kind of forcing them to take it. Because if not, it's definitely going into the hands of Blacklist. But now it's going to create the opportunity for them to possibly not slot Nefarious in the roam position, but possibly Mage and locking in a Lolita. Something we've kind of seen dominate, especially when you're stacked up against that Atlas. Now, speaking of Atlas, there's a couple of conditions that have to be made, right? You have to be able to rush in, create the opportunity with those fatal links on Blacklist. And the question is, how are you going to get that done, right? You are going up against Venus when there is a mistake happening or a co-alter activated. If Venus is not grabbed up, you're going to see that co-alter activate to give their team a second chance inside of that fight. And then to top it off, you're going to see Sai over there with that Wrath of the Dryad on that Beleric for some additional root CC to the team. Now, looking at the way this game is going so far, I got to give a couple things to the side of Nefarious. It was a little bit of surprise with what they slotted versus what they let get banned out. Carmilla was one of the picks they banned. They could have easily picked that up instead of the Cho, or even instead of the Kagura. Also the Leomorn, one of the best junglers in the game. Not something they slotted either. Now it's, wait a minute, they're going to go ahead and secure Esmeralda, not just any Esmeralda, but ladies and gentlemen, they are choosing to go Esmeralda in the jungle, and we are seeing a wild card draft on the way. And the question is this the right answer? Akihiko going with something not too commonly picked either, is going to go ahead and lock in Gushin's older brother, that Amon with those endless shards, that assassin that's going to rush in and try and get those kills and have a little bit of sustainability in his kit. But the question is, how will this play out between both teams as we are progressing toward the Land of the Dawn? Looking at both drafts, if I have to give it to one, right? This is a tough one. But I will say it's definitely going into the hands of Blacklist just due to the favor of putting Esmeralda in the jungle. I'm not really sure it's the best option. I would have picked up a Leomord or something instead of banning it out. Would have definitely been the wiser choice. But as we progress into the Land of the Dawn, Rim, who would you give this game to going forward?
Definitely think in terms of, even though their draft could have possibly been better in their favor, the side of Nefarious, they went for a lot of comfort picks. We see Some to Love, who has done immaculately well on this Beatrix in the gold lane. And it's not the first time that Disappointing Retreat has slotted the Esmeralda in the jungle position. And I think they actually took the game where they did slot her in the jungle, and he was able to secure these objectives, roam around the map, and still be that annoyance that we all know Esmeralda to be. So just for the fact that Nefarious has locked in these comfort picks and heroes that I'm sure they're comfortable on and 100% okay with locking into regardless of the enemy composition, I'm gonna give it to the side of Nefarious here.
Oh, so that is 2 votes for the side. Actually, no, 1 for Nefarious, 1 for Blacklist. So maybe putting a little bit of money on it. Rim's gonna go ahead and bet 20,000 diamonds against me right now, and can't wait to see which way this goes. But looking at the draft so far, a couple of conditions have to be met, right? You have this Beatrix, that aggressive marksman in the early game, who's going to have a slight easier time against that Leslie. Definitely needing Leslie to have a little bit of backup, and when backup's not in her favor, needing to play safe, but Some to prove playing that position well is going to go ahead and give a little bit of that pressure to allow Some to Love a little bit more of an easier time in that gold lane. Looking at the bottom side, you are seeing that Lapu Lapu versus that Cho. Now, Cho has Way of the Dragon, can kind of get some displacement in some of these fights. Maybe going to have to kind of focus in on this Venus for the Nefarious on that co-alter. Maybe a game plan. If you keep him at bay while your team bursts him down, then that is no co-alter into the hands of Blacklist. So definitely excited to see which way this goes, but you're already seeing Beatrix have an easier time with the help of her team. Having that level 4, Leslie still in that lane by herself. Is going to go ahead and clear those minions, but speaking of clearing, Turtle has spawned in, and both teams possibly preparing to go in for it. The endless shards, though, on to Some to Love. Already seeing Amon pick up in damage.
Absolutely. Speaking of picking up in damage here, we do see the side of Blacklist International trying to pull the aggro on this Turtle while Leslie gets some of that tower gold in the top lane here. We do see Lapu Lapu spamming the recall to give the team a little more, 5% damage towards these objectives in the Land of Dawn. Speaking of objectives here,
You see Turtle going into the hands of that jungle Esmeralda. A little bit of co-alter activated. Falling Star Moon going down for some sustainability and CC. But wait a minute. Looks like the clash is still going on, and neither side loses a member. But that was Turtle into the hands of Nefarious. And now that's going to give him a slight lead in terms of gold and also shield for these fights. But definitely not a game changer, as if Blacklist kind of plays their cards right, they can stay in this game. But definitely need to focus on this Leslie. When you take these neutral objectives, that goes to your whole team. It's It's going to give more gold into the hands of some to love. On in this marksman, now sitting at 2,200 compared to this Leslie at 21. And you don't want him to kind of out farm this Leslie, who already has a harder time against that early game marksman. Speaking of early game, though, both teams getting prepared for a possible clash in the gold lane.
Absolutely, and this is what you want to see. When you lose in objectives, try to make a play on the opposite side of the map. Look at where you can get a gain here. Speaking of gain, we do see Beatrix clearing out that lane while she has the protection from Atlas on the top lane there. Looking at the bot lane, this Chow, he is taking the tankier route, which is definitely going to help Atlas with these sets. Speaking of things to help out, looking at these items here, we do see a lot of defensive components being picked up on a lot of members. Speaking of things getting picked up here,
Fatal Links connecting on to that jungler Akihiko and then bursted down by Sophia on that Kagura with that yin yang overturn, which is going to give first blood into the hands of Nefarious. Not only did they take a neutral objective, but they have gotten the first kill on the board, and they're slowly starting to rise in terms of gold. And we need to see an answer from the side of Blacklist, as we know how fast the snowball can start to pile up. Speaking of snowball, though, possible gank on the bottom side as Venus and Sai rush into some to prove and some to love. A little bit of that overextension now forced to rush into the mid lane. Cole Alter being activated a little prematurely from the side of Venus right there, but you do see Namir's passion clear at those minions. Turtle spawning in, Blade of Despair picked up by some to love, who is going to go ahead and recall, and now some to prove is going to go ahead and pull this aggro on this turtle.
absolutely, and that's the thing. You burned out the whip, but you still allowed for chains to be active in the map. Speaking of things being active in the map,
You do see Disappointed Retro getting a kill on the side with the overextension, running into 4 members of Nefarious into that bush, and now Nefarious going for this turtle. Definitely going to go into their hands again, and they're just stacking up on these objectives, and you're not seeing an answer from the side of Blacklist right now, and this is very surprising. Now a 2,000 gold lead, 5 minutes in. Bloodlust being picked up by Lapu over there in the XP lane. Speaking of the lane, though, you do see Fatal Links connecting, but hit with Amir's passion over there by Some to Love. Down goes Leslie, and Some to Prove escaping with the conceal play in 1 HP.
I see. That's why I kind of favored the side of Nefarious there, even though they may have lost the draft in your humble but wrong opinion. They did have a lot of these comfort picks in their hands, and we're seeing them being able to execute this. But speaking of execution, I know the side of Blacklist International, they're okay with taking the slower route on being behind in the early phases of the map. One thing about a team like Blacklist, we've seen them being able to pick up that momentum and capitalize on those many mistakes that players on the opposing side may have when it comes to personal micro and macro gameplays here. So it can go in the favor of either team's side, but currently right now it's definitely going in the favor of Nefarious.
You do see a little bit of that frozen effect onto Sai, and do you see the Fatal Links connecting to all members in the top lane, and then the Mirror's Passion connecting for a double kill, taking out Leslie, taking out Akihiko, and taking out Sai. What a play! What a beautiful combination of synergy from the side of Nefarious, which is going to open up this top lane to push in that tower.
Exactly, and it's like I was saying, you let the whips go, but you still have these chains on the field, so you can't just walk around. You can still get snatched, you can still get kidnapped. Nowhere is safe, and Nefarious, they're the known criminals of the Land of the Dawn, so you definitely have to pay them some respect.
Speaking of respect, Clash going in, Akihiko getting a kill on to Some to Prove in the process. Tower going down very low. Looks like it does go into the hands of Nefarious. Endless Shards activated, but Disappointed Retro taking out the backline. Gonna go ahead and take down Leslie, but in that process, you are seeing the tower drop in the mid lane for the side of Blacklist. Now 1-8, and man, oh man, is the snowball piling up for the side of Nefarious as they make their way to this turtle. Not wasting a moment of time, not giving Blacklist any room to breathe, but you do see Venus rushing in, trying to steal this turtle, and not able to, as Esmeralda connects with the Retribution, the way the drag connected on Venus, and oh my goodness, the yin yang overturn to finish off Venus. What a beautiful play, and you're seeing some amazing synergy right now from Nefarious. Fatal Links connecting, Some to Love, getting a kill on Akihiko, and I'm just kind of scratching my head right now. This is like this should be a movie, how well these members are moving together today, and definitely giving props to the side of Nefarious on their synergy.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. You can lock any type of hero in the draft. Like I remember when I played with my team, see us before in the past, who we've seen perform well. They allowed me to lock one of my comfort picks, Odette, and we were always able to accomplish these team fights just because we had that synergy together. And that's the thing, as we see from this instant replay here, the synergy, the combinations of ultimates from the side of Nefarious here, definitely getting the jobs done.
You are seeing a tower drop into the hands of Blacklist, though, but a trade-off is down. Goes Lord Supremacy. Monster kill over there as Venus falls into the hands of Something to Love. Now 6-0-1 on this marksman. My goodness, do we have a sniper in our hands? Speaking of snipers, ultimate snipe going out by Leslie right there to give some vision. Conceal play on the side of Nefarious, possibly getting a fatal links onto that marksman. And wait a minute. Leslie in a bad situation now, having to be very careful. But speaking of bad situation, Something to Love with the overextension was too costly, and Leslie's gonna go ahead and secure that kill. And that is the roam down for the side of Nefarious, and that is a huge turnaround for the side of Blacklist to kind of maintain that pressure and go in for a possible fight. But speaking of fights, Something to Love over there on that Beatrix gonna pick up that Hawes Claws for some sustainability as that marksman.
Absolutely. Speaking of items being picked up, we do see Faramis going for that cooldown reduction route, which is, he definitely needs that, especially when these team fights we see Nefarious aren't really giving Blacklist International a chance to breathe. Speaking of breathing, Beatrix picking up her 3 core items, that Blade of Despair, Malefic Raw, and House Claw. She has the damage, she has the sustain, and her KDA reflects that. Speaking of damage, Kagura also locking in her first 2 core items, which is going to heavily add to this burst potential. Speaking of burst, Amon, he locked in for that Father of Heaven as the first item, maybe building into Genius Wand here for that early magic penetration in the early game, which he definitely needs when these team fights. Speaking of team fight, we do see Kagura was able to pick up that double kill there in the bot lane by the red buff. Lapu finding an answer. However, Beatrix coming in with the double kill. She has a response here.
Definitely a response indeed, and almost a wipeout as they are chasing in. Oh my goodness, an actual wipeout. Down goes Lapu Lapu, and wait a minute. A huge play by Nefarious. A little bit of a replay on what we just seen. The team's kind of clashing it out. That Lord in play. Sai barely down to any HP, and you are seeing Sophia get the double kill onto the Roman, also on to that jungle. A little bit of shutdown by Lauren, taking out the mage, the backline for the side of Nefarious, but a response back from Something to Love with a double kill, taking out Venus, and they are going to close in and try and finish it out for that wipeout. And do they get it? Yes, they do. But you did see Lauren take out 2 members in that trade, but Lauren is not enough to hold off a full team of Nefarious. And not only did they win that clash, but they also won that objective, as you are seeing Lord make his way down the top lane. And now all the side of Nefarious needs to do is kind of sink these lanes and possibly push in some of these turrets. Already seen one fall on the top lane as it is going to crash into the top inhibitor. Full team of Blacklist trying to deny this Lord from entering, but on the bottom side, Something to Love having that Rainer at her disposal is going to go ahead and try and get some snipes, but a concealed play and possible fatal links in the way. Oh my goodness, the flicker fatal links for 3-man set. Some Love getting a kill onto Leslie, Sai getting a kill onto Some Fruit. Down goes Atlas, the tank for the side of Nefarious, but Akihiko with a shutdown takes out Something to Love. Down goes Beatrix, the Way of the Dragon connecting, but wait a minute, the Wrath of the Drea connecting as well on Sai, but it has very low HP. Speaking of low HP, Akihiko getting a kill on to Dingy on that show, and ladies and gentlemen, that is going to force Nefarious on the retreat. That is only Sophia on this Kagura and Esmeralda, the jungler Esmeralda, living on that trade, but they have taken every single tower now down to the inhibitors, and now, like we said, the side of Blacklist having to be a little bit more patient. They cannot be overly aggressive now, as any mistake can be pivotal. They have to wait for the side of Nefarious to make a mistake and make the most out of it.
Absolutely. Speaking the most out of it, Nefarious picking up that 6k gold lead. And speaking of things being picked up, Kagura, she went ahead and picked up that Genius Wand, which is definitely going to secure her burst potential and potentially her one-shot potential during these early clashes. Speaking of clashes, this tank build Chao usually is something that we are accustomed to seeing, especially in the EXP lane. Speaking of things being picking up here,
you do see Sophia getting a kill on to the jungler. Down goes the assassin Amon, but Wrath of the Drea connecting for some CC. Additional CC provided as a response from Atlas with the fatal links, but Sai taking him down on that Bellaric. Down goes the tank for the side of Nefarious, but Nefarious decides to steal Class AR, trying to push in this mid lane, but is this the right option? Something Love getting a kill onto side with that low HP, able to connect and take him down, getting a double kill, taking out Lauren's Supremacy as well in that process, and now gonna make their way into this mid inhibitor, and down it goes. But the aggressive push does not stop here as Sophia rushes in, takes out Leslie, gets to that backline marksman. Venus and Akihiko trying to defend it off. Endless Charge connecting, able to take out Disappointing Retry, but wait a minute, are they enough to hold off the 3-man from the side of Nefarious? Nefarious passing going down by Beatrix, clearing out these minions, and man, oh man, are they putting on a show today. But Luminous Lord has spawned in, and they need to retreat and possibly take this, but the question is, do they, as they are being heavily, overly aggressive? Oh my goodness! Ren is Empathy connecting, getting a snipe onto Akihiko. Down goes the jungler, and down goes the Nexus, and ladies and gentlemen, Nefarious has taken the game.
Victory!
Absolutely taking the game and having a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful execution there. So Weezy, I hope you got your money, because I want my diamonds when this match is done. Speaking of things when the match is done here, we do see Beatrix picking up that MVP, 13-1 and 2. Beautiful KDA from Some to Love, but honestly, I think Some to Love had some to prove right now, and Some to prove loved them sets that he was getting. So beautiful overall draft on the side of Nefarious. Speaking of overall performances here, both teams really even in terms of the team fight participation. However, the side of Nefarious did a pretty good job at shutting down on my Venus on this Faramis, so he wasn't able to give his team these beneficial coal altars. And we did see that one time he used it too prematurely, which also was a bit questionable, but things that was not questionable though was this beautiful instant replay that we're seeing now, where Beatrix was able to win out this game.
Yeah, definitely able to win out that game. Nefarious just applying that pressure. Luminous Lord was in effect, and I was wondering, are you going to push off 3 members down for the side of Blacklist? And then that Rainer's Empathy connecting onto Akihiko on that Oman opened up the door to push in that Nexus in a beautiful game indeed in terms of synergy from the side of Nefarious, and now taking out Blacklist. But like we said, this is only one game. This is just one battle in the war, as these teams are prepping in a best of 3 to try and close out Series 2. And the question is, who will prevail? Are we going to see Nefarious maintain that fire, hold on to that torch, and take them down? Or are we going to see the side of Blacklist, the American Queen, kind of come back on the rise and take them down to even out this series? Find out here shortly. Grab some popcorn, get some drinks, and we'll be right back with you guys for Game 2.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Love you from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. Being in when you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, never, never wanna forget. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Land of the Dawn as we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and today is MLSA Week 4, Day 4. This is exciting, also Season 1. A lot of these teams are competing in a best-of-3 series, and we've seen them kind of step up to the challenge. The first series, Elite 10 versus only the squad. Only the squad with a little bit of a surprise, first time competing, and able to get the wipeout on that veteran team. Series 2, we are watching currently Nefarious versus Blacklist International, and Nefarious with a little bit of a surprise, able to close out Game 1 with a fast finish over there with that Atlas, no denial to those fatal links. And then next we have Excellent Era versus Tang Dynasty. Excited to see these matches going forward. Like we said, Blacklist International, one of those teams that showed up out of nowhere in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, a team with the American Queen on their side, and that is a huge name to kind of live up to. So already taken one loss. I'm excited to see what they do going forward. As we know, when your back's against the wall, that's what decides how good you are as a team. And we want to see how they kind of compete going forward. Are they going to be able to take a win over Nefarious and even out the scoreboard? Or will we see Nefarious, one of the few teams who held a record for King of the Hill with 4 wins in a row, taken down by Ackerman on that title, but definitely showing us they are all about it and can definitely close these games out if you are not careful. Today, we're going to be joined by 2 amazing casters on the desk. We have Coach Deku doing the play-by-play, and then also we are assisted by Master Rim with some on-point analysis.
Absolutely. And speaking of on-point analysis, it's exactly like you said. And when you made your entire brand to a team, as an already established team, mind you, like Blacklist International, you can't be putting these performances and not live up to the standard that we would expect from you. Because like, if you're confident in, making your entire image after like something that's already out there and something that's already been done before, you have to be able to live up to that momentum and live up to that hype. And last game, we were seeing momentum and hype, but not from them. And that's not what you want to see, especially when that's like your main focus. Speaking of main focus, looking at the draft here, Plus being taken out on Kaja. So they heard us in the first game. The whips and the chains out, no more, none of that. We don't want to get snatched. We don't want to get kidnapped from the side of Nefarious, from the criminals as we know them to be. Speaking of things that's known to be, we do see the side of Blacklist International locking in the Akai, locking in the Yuzhang and the Lilia, as well as the Carry and Chow, which we've seen from the side of Nefarious in the game previously. A pretty solid draft on the side of Blacklist International. Speaking of solid drafts, we do see Some to Love locking in the Leslie, and I have faith in Some to Love's ADC at this point. They're able to hold it down in the gold lane. Speaking of holding things down, disappointing retreat on the Carmilla, able to get that links for the team fights, for the CC, for the shared damage. Speaking of shared damage, we see Denji on the Benedetta and Sophia on the Kagura. Beautiful ultimates in terms of AoE damage. And I'm excited to see how the side of Nefarious is going to play in this game. Are they going to keep up the momentum from the previous game, or is Blacklist International going to live up to the code?
And it's funny that you leave it there on that note, mentioning Blacklist International, right? If I'm looking at these compositions, if you switch these names around, I would definitely be fooled, because Nefarious actually is looking like they have more of that Blacklist International strat. They have that utility jungler They have the mobility then, that support on that roam, and then you have the marksman there, the AoE from your mage, and then you have the Benedetta and the XP. So kind of like that 4-1 split formation that we see from the side of Blacklist over there in Jakarta, and Blacklist actually looking more nefarious there, especially with the Cho pickup and whatnot from their composition. So a little change, a little mix-up for Blacklist. What's been working for them, obviously didn't get the job done in the last match. So both teams obviously here with a couple adjustments here. Nefarious already winning out, of course, up 1-0 in this series, this best of 3, looking to close it out. And if I'm Blacklist, obviously had to change things up. They have to dig out of the hole. They're down a match, and if they lose this, they would be eliminated in this best of 3 scrim up against Nefarious. That's definitely not what you want to do. You don't want to be swept. You want to be able to make those adjustments to find a way to win out up against a team like Nefarious.
Exactly. And speaking of getting eliminations, that's definitely what the side of Blacklist International is going to have to do. Look at their composition. They have the Chow for the pickoffs to secure that ultimate, to secure a member, get a member down before these important neutral objectives. And that's what they have to do. They don't have a lot of that team fight, sustained and continuous damage. Everything is one and done to dish out that initial burst. So if that burst goes down and the side of Nefarious is able to out-sustain the damage and the poke that they received from Blacklist International, then the fight would definitely turn into the favor of Nefarious here. Speaking of things turning into the favor, we do see the side of Blacklist International rotating towards the first turtle of the match.
Definitely, they have mobilized for this, but keep an eye on Denji there on the Benedetta. Currently camped up behind this Akai. We are seeing the zoning coming in, though, from the side of Blacklist, doing a good job. And now the engage. The Electro coming in, and Carmilla is going to steal that away from Akai. Heavy Spin coming in late, going to get the pin, but not going to get the follow-up as the members aren't able to make a play. But speaking of plays, Black Dragon landing in, going to find the first blood. That's the XP laner from the side of Blacklist. Going to ahead and make that play. A double kill into his hand as he also trades out the jungler. They lose the turtle. They lose a body, but they do pick up 2 members from the side of Nefarious. A pretty even trade. You can see that on the gold there. Pretty neck and neck. Speaking of neck and neck, though, up in the gold lane, something to love. Applying that pressure up to carry here, going to force that early recall. And the early fights right now from both these teams definitely show the want and the desire to win this match.
Absolutely, and that's what you want to see. You want to see when you have these strong team fights, you have these strong ultimates and strong heroes, such as the Yu Zhang on your side. You definitely want to see these engagements. Speaking of engagements, let's take a minute to engage with these items here. Or maybe this team fight.
Way of that dragon coming in there, but gonna get quickly nullified from the disengage from Leslie's ability to go ahead and knock him back. So now we are seeing, though, a little yin-yang overturn coming out from the Kagura. Not gonna find a kill, but does apply a little pressure and still that creep up the top side of the jungle.
Absolutely. Now that things have slowed down, I like to take a moment, if these teams would let me, to focus on these early item components. But speaking of early items, though, we do see Benedetta securing that Bloodless Axe to help her sustain these team fights. And she's the only member on the teams, on both teams right now, to lock in that first core item. We do see Gura, actually, my Venus, proving me wrong with the Enchanted Talisman, definitely going to help her be able to spam those bombs to get more poke, slows, and damage out in these early game team fights. Speaking of early game and team fight potential, we do see Harry.
Did see that, right? That combination, the Deadly Sniper and that Mathilda Airlines for the 1-2 combo to go ahead and secure that kill on the gold laner of Blacklist. And now the way of the dragon in the mid lane, combo by the Yin Yang overturn. Gonna go ahead and go for the back line, not gonna find the kill. Now the XP from a Blacklist, the Black Dragon coming in to provide that damage. We are seeing the engage, the chase into the tower, but Cho might have overstepped, gonna get forced out on the flicker. Nobody falling down there in that mid lane scuffle, but a lot of damage dished out, a lot of utility use. Speaking of utility, Mathilda Airline once again comboing with the sniper. Deadly Sniper is now out from Leslie trying to find my Venus, but the members of Blacklist doing a good job of starting to distract that knockup. Coming in from Yu Zhang, not going to connect as the members of Nefarious are starting to take control of this river. So on the prove, starting to zone. Electro Flash coming in from Denji on the Benedetta. They will secure that turtle, basically uncontested, but on the top side, we are seeing Carrie make a push for this tower.
Absolutely. And honestly, that's the type of love that I want to see from my team. If y'all can't take 4 Leslie bullets from me, I do not want to be on your team. Speaking of wanting to be on teams here.
We did see that kill Threat get taked up in the bot lane, taking down that Yu Zhang, gonna offer them some ability to potentially push that tower. But as we do get this instant replay up on the screen, let's break it down here for a second. Early on in the match, we've seen the zoning coming in from the side of Blacklist, but with the distraction from the Benedetta, Carmilla able to sneak in and get that red tree. Heavy spin coming in a little too late for the side of Blacklist, but something coming in right on time was that XP laner. Great rotations that we're seeing from him as he was able to pick up that first blood and more to trade out that turtle. Speaking of trades in the mid lane, heavy spin coming out from Makai, trying to back off this damage from the 3-member onslaught of Nefarious. Black Dragon coming in for the backup, not going to find anything, but will ward off any forward presence. But speaking of presence, Cho potentially looking for the G-Kondo, does find one in the mid lane, but going to get stunned by the Petrify, knocked back, and the CC Larry is going to get taken down by something to prove all this. Mathilda looking for more, pushing in Mathilda airlines way deep in the background on carry there, as Dingy is going to find Oh My Venus in that mid clash on the prove, trying to disengage from carry, doing a good job of keeping the back line of Blacklist away from that mid lane skirmish.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. The side of Nefarious, they definitely are keeping the momentum going. Even though they did lose the tower down in the top lane, they are able to keep up in terms of gold lead on the map, and they are taking these fights and they're not leaving it empty-handed. And I'll always go back to saying their name, Nefarious. They are living up to that standard. They are showing us that what's yours is mine and what's mine is ours. Y'all can't just come here and expect to take stuff from us and leave red-handed. No, we're gonna take something back. Speaking of take something back here, I want to take a look at the items before these teams set up for this second turtle of the match. We do see Mathilda picking up the dominance ice, definitely going to help in terms of sustainability on the heal cutting from the passive that Yu Zhang can provide. Speaking of things being provided.
We are seeing the heavy spin being used early, not going to have that available to zone off Carmilla, but Black Dragon and the way the Dragon coming into combo on this Carmilla to keep him away from this. But now the follower re-engage from the side of Nefarious. Killing spree on Cadre, going to go ahead and take out the members of double kills. They find the jungler as well. Mathilda on a killing spree in the hands of support. Oh My Venus, though, going to find a shutdown on the roamer, but that's a 1-for-3 trade in the favor of Nefarious as well as the turtle. And Something to Love still keeping it up. Going to juke out the G-Conduit, and now Deadly Sniper. All Cho can do is wait until his untimely death. Sheesh, indeed, for the members of the fair. So they're winning the trades right now. They are on a tear. Like you said, they want everything and nothing less than that, as they will go and keep pushing for this mid tower. Disappointing retreat, keeping Venus away. Gloom's coming in, but too little too late. Not going to be able to save that mid tower. Nefarious is claiming the estates and the real estate on this map.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. They were able to secure that objectives and win out in that team fight. They secured the mid lane tower, and as well as the first tower up on the top side, pushing the map economy into the hands of them. And speaking of things into the hands, the team fights, I was expecting the side of Blacklist to have the upper hand when it comes to the early game aggression and damage. However, I don't know, something to love here on this Leslie is definitely popping off, and we see that being reflected in terms of the items here, already locking in that Windtalker and Berserker's Fury, securing that early game crit damage, building into the
over into that Demon Hunter sword there. The members of Blacklist and Nefarious obviously starting to jockey up for some position here. That Lord is coming in. First Lord of the game in less than 30 seconds. Benedetta doing a good job of applying that lane pressure on the top side. Going to force Blacklist to have to go ahead and respond to that, as Carrie will make her way up to the top side of the map. Benedetta patiently waiting. Speaking of patiently waiting, something to prove. Might have gotten caught out. No, going to be able to disengage. G-Condu does connect, but not going to afford it on the side of Blacklist any more than that. That is just a roam. Nothing to commit there. We are seeing the secure of the river right now. Disappointing retreat already in position in this bush to start with this Lord at a moment's notice. Akio on the Akai trying to fight, trying to jockey for position. Doesn't have his roamer there to clear out any space or secure the vision. Doing a lot of it on his own as the members of Nefarious are starting to close in. They're starting to swing around this Lord pit, starting to make the members of Blacklist feel this. Speaking of fill it, Blacklist coming in, forcing the Black Boots from Oh My Venus. Heavy spin popped out early against Makai. This Kagger is going to find Carrie, and Venus is going to find Dingy. A 1-for-1 trade so far in the midst of this Lord fight, but now Something to Love on a tear, finding Oh My Venus after those Black Boots have been forced prematurely. Way of the Dragon, but with no follow-up, is left in an uncomfortable position. A similar position. Deadly Sniper going to find him yet again. Double kill in the hands of Something to Love, and so will this Lord Lord falls into the hands of disappointing retry, actually into the hands of Leslie, making sure he's getting all the last hits in this match. And you can see it again on this turtle. They made the same plays again like they did on the Lord. Leslie with the forward aggression, able to find members, able to distract the team of Blacklist as disappointing retry was able to pick up those Lords and still on the hunt even afterwards. And he put Cho in the blender one more time. You see it there. You saw it a couple seconds ago. The Deadly Sniper is finding those members trying to escape. And now Blacklist trying to escape with what little dignity they have left and potentially be able to go for the comeback. But with this first Lord coming down for the side of Nefarious and the way they've been playing, I don't know. The odds aren't looking in their favor as Nefarious has been enforcing their will. And they're going to look to take down some more towers, if not this match.
Absolutely. And speaking of them definitely having to defend their will, the people in chat are already, questioning who is this knockoff team here. Speaking of knockoffs, better maybe out of positioning. You have the dashes, you have the sustainability, but you're not invincible. You're not immortal. Play smart, don't overextend, and make the best out of these neutral objectives here.
Absolutely, maybe out of position, but that's definitely a death timer. One member down from the side of Nefarious, not going to put that Lord to good use, but with the pressure that they have and the way the game is currently, Blacklist not going to be able to do much with it, so more than just clear that Lord. They're going to have to find a way, right, to open up this map. They're going to have to find a way to open up these towers. The tier 3 and mid for the side of Nefarious still standing strong, just like its members. They're going to have to crack that down if they want to start getting some map control here. We know that mid lane tier 3 provides a lot of opportunity. It gives you a lot of a safety net to play around. You can see the members of Nefarious playing around that net. They know they're tier 3 down for Blacklist, who don't really have much security. Their jungle's open. The paths to the side lanes are open. Speaking of pathing to the side lane, we are seeing some to prove. Shake down over to that gold lane, keeping an eye on Carry there with something left in that camouflage. Stay close to his hip. We've seen them combo earlier in the matches. Looks like both the teams are starting to group up. They know it's in this late stages of the game, 12 minutes in. Definitely anything can happen. A play can be made. Speaking of plays, Cho, Akai currently jockeying over this red buff. Don't want to get baited into a fight here. Definitely not worth it. Nefarious might pressure for this tower. They do have a mini wave there. Blacklist being very cautious. They are going to have to go ahead and give this up. Leslie's going to go ahead and take that down. Yin Yang overturn, but for what cost? The heavy spin going to come out and find the shutdown into the hands of Carry. A quick disengagement. Now the re-engage from the Black Dragon on the hunt for Leslie. Not going to find the knockup being wasted. And now a return, the reverse. Going to get taken down by this Leslie. The same target he was going for. Did force the flicker, but got forced out of the fight there. So they did go ahead and turn that around. And now looking for the tower. But way of the Dragon coming out from Cho. But no follow-up. Petrify on the Akai. They don't have the damage, but Nefarious does. They're going to force Cho on the disengaged Deadly Sniper. Not going to find a third strike on this Cho, but they are finding the openings right now. They did turn that fight around. It did look like it was going to go into favor of Blacklist, but Nefarious still finding a way to keep the pressure on and not taking their foot off the gas.
Absolutely. And speaking of taking a foot off the gas, looking at these items, we see Carmella almost into her full build. She definitely has the sustainability, which is what you want from her, to be able to frontline in these team fights, to make the most. Speaking of making the most,
these teams, right, looking for this Lord again. We're seeing Blacklist try to go for the zone, and right now, on a tear, double kill going to the hands of Carry. Gonna miss that G-Con from Cho, though, but Carry not missing those speedy light wheels, but keep an eye on this Lord. Akai and Carmilla are both around. No, Carmilla's actually out of this fight. It's just Akai, but he's pretty low. Is he gonna be able to secure that? Does find the Lord, and that's the first objective in a while for Blacklist. Now they're looking to keep picking up the pace here. The members of the Nefarious are down, and now Blacklist has a good opportunity with this enhanced Luminous Lord to finally take some stakes on this map and maybe dig deep and find a comeback.
Speaking of dig deep, we couldn't get to dig pretty deep into the item breakdown previously, but let's take a look at them now. We see Chow locking in 3 of his core defense items for the tankier route, which is one of the routes that I prefer on him personally. You get the most out of his kit as a hero. Speaking of getting the most, Carry being full build, she has the attack speed, she has the penetration from the Demon Hunter Sword and Golden Staff, as well as the additional utility and defense coming in from that Thunderbolt there. Speaking of defense, Mathilda locking in the Dominance Ice as well as Oracle and the Brute Force, giving her more movement speed as well as sustainability and offering more utility to the overall team. Speaking of offering more, we see Kagura almost full build. All she needs is one more magic item and she'll be able to dish out so much more damage. Speaking of damage being dished out,
We've seen an attempt from Blacklist to claim one of those tier 3 towers in the bot side. Like we said, they do need to try to open up this map. It was shortly and quickly stuffed out by the side of Nefarious, able to clear those minions and get them up out of the way. But they have edged a little divot right on the map here. Not a lot. They're still down, but with this play here on the Lord, able to secure themselves a little more time, a little more breathing space as the pressure from Carmilla and showing that back line and that carry, able to get it done and secure a space for Akai to be able to secure this uncontested. He was low, but with no other retry on the field, it was nearly good as free for the side of Blacklist, and they secured and able to find some things on the map. Now, they're going to have to do this maybe one more time. That Lord coming up in a little over a minute, right? The side of Blacklist doing a good job. We're seeing Psy, right, open up this map, proxy these waves, that is able to take that tower. They're getting it done piece by piece, though. Cho, Venus trying to get something going on in this mid lane potentially. We're seeing the Glooms on the top side. Dingy with a cut potentially going for that inhibitor, bringing Akai's attention to the top side. That means the utility for the side of Blacklist is not present. We could see a flank. We could see a fight in that mid lane. We are seeing Dingy in the back line. Keep an eye on him. He is coming through that river bush. This could be a player. It could be a pickoff. Gonna find his way through the bush. Eye for an eye, enforcing out the Electro Flash, but not before taking a lot of damage. Definitely gonna get forced back on the recall. And now the signal from Blacklist. The call has been made. The concealed play is going in. They're looking for the engage. Haven't found anything quickly. A waste of that. But on the flip side, Kagura gonna catch Lilia on the backside with that yin-yang overturning. Now the numbers are in favor of Nefarious. They're gonna make another call to go for the engage one more time. Airlines on carry. Not with the follow-up though. G Kundu gonna find love, but not gonna find the kill. He's still running around for the throw right now. So remember, the Blacklist are getting taken down. Dingy taken outside. Now Kyle on the chase, but Benedetto on the retaliation here. Gonna find the kill. That's 2 members down. Make that 4 across the board though, as this Lord is now fresh and for the taking. But it looks like Nefarious is gonna make one more risky call here. They're gonna look for the end. All there is carry, and those speedy light wheels might not be enough. We're seeing the flicker in. They're going for the inhibitor. The members of Nefarious are gonna end it right here, right now. They're not gonna give them a chance to get back in this match. The umbrella's out. Yin Yang overturn could come out soon next. Members are coming in, but now Venus is spawned in. But will that be enough? Electro Flash already there to force the Black Boots, and the Nexus is getting taken down by the speedy light wheels. Nefarious 2-0 Blacklist International.
Victory!
Absolutely, and it's a sweep. And y'all, we aren't talking about when the dust falls. The only thing falling tonight is Blacklist International. Beautiful game coming from the side of Nefarious. From the draft, the combos that we see, the responses on the map, the one objective that they did lose out on, they were able to capitalize of it in the long run. Speaking of things that helped them capitalize, looking back at this team fight here.
And we're seeing them right. The calls after calls. Benedetta not getting it done, but after they secured the number, they went right back in. And this is what inevitably led them to win this match. Dingy doing a great job finding another way into those backlines, finding a double kill for Nefarious on their way to end that match. And someone to prove finding his way onto the MVP with that godlike performance on Mathilda, showing Blacklist how to really play that support, that Ube strat, and go ahead and secure that victory. Speaking of securing the victory, Sunderland playing a huge part yet again, 60% turret damage, 18k if you count it up, and Kagura coming in with that 30% team damage. You can see the 2 components there leading the win for the way of Nefarious over Blacklist.
And what a play indeed, and what a match, what a series, matter of fact. Being able to pull off a sweep from Nefarious, taking out the American Queen in Blacklist is definitely something to brag about. I'm super excited to see how these teams kind of progress through the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. The whole purpose of this is to get every single team competing, ready for future events in MLBB North America. That's right, all these teams you guys will definitely be seeing on the professional scene in the NACTs, in the MPL, and I'm super excited to have a little part in that as we watch them compete and watch them grow with that synergy. But speaking of synergy, a little bit more into the hands of Nefarious, able to close out that second game to secure that not only the series, but the sweep over on Blacklist International. A little bit of a surprise. Blacklist is one of those teams that showed up out of nowhere, and they kind of shocked the world with how well they were performing. Like last week, matter of fact, taking out a lot of the top teams into the MLSA. So to see a team like Nefarious come back and get a sweep on them definitely shows that these teams are getting better and better, and they do not plan on stopping anytime soon. So shout out to both teams for competing today, but like I said, there can only be one winner. But that is not the end for today, as we have another series. Looking at the schedule so far, we've seen the Elite 10 versus only the squad in a best of 3 for Series 1. only the squad, a team that just showed up today, first time ever competing in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, able to secure that win over on the Elite 10. Not only a win, but another sweep. And then for Series 2, we saw Nefarious and Blacklist International. We know how that story went. And then for Series 3, this one is on the way. We are going to be seeing Excellent Era versus Tang Dynasty. And I'm super excited to see these two teams compete. Excellent Era and Tang Dynasty. Well, I say Excellent Era is more of a vet team. Tang Dynasties, they've been around, but they haven't competed as much. So I really want to see these two teams compete and kind of get a good overall feeling on how I rate them compared to the other teams that we've been seeing compete a little bit more often. Speaking of competition, we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and I appreciate you guys tuning in today. Grab some popcorn, get some drinks, and we'll be right back with you guys for Series 3.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside.
They want them all, not Minnesota. No.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Land of the Dawn, and we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and today we have made it over to Series 3, and we have two amazing teams competing. But before we get into that, let's get into a little bit of a recap in today's schedule. Looking at Series 1, we saw Elite 10 versus Only the Squad. Only the Squad, a little bit of memorabilia with me playing on that team prior in the past, but to see that legacy continued and them able to get a sweep on a veteran team such as Elite 10 definitely put a smile to my face. But for Series 2, Nefarious versus Blacklist, another sweep with Nefarious able to provide that early game finish and also able to kind of outplay Blacklist International with the American Queen on their side. And not only outplay, but they got a sweep as well. And now the question is, for Series 3, Excellent Era versus Tang Dynasty, are we going to see another sweep in our hands from both of these teams? These teams that we've seen compete throughout several weeks in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, but not as often as some of the others. Tang Dynasty, kind of excited to see what they bring to the table, as I am trying to kind of take some notes and see what I rate them compared to their predecessors inside of the MLSA that we've seen kind of compete today and in the previous weeks as well. Excellent Era actually has a squad member that used to be on my team named Alfred, so kind of happy to see him kind of playing on another team and excited to see what it brings to the table. But I do know one thing for sure, we do have an excellent match on the way.
Definitely, and me personally, I don't want to talk about butlers. I want to talk about these matchups. All right, Tang Dynasty, Excellent Era, 5v5 as a whole. We've seen Excellent Era go up against TRS in their first outing when they stepped onto the MLSA. We've seen Tang Dynasty this week as well, stepping out and putting their claws and their stake in the MLSA. Both of these teams still fresh to MLSA, but no new faces to the competitive side of things. Both teams able to get it done. Speaking of things getting done, you're looking at the draft here, and we're seeing it already in these picks. Both of these teams knowing exactly what they want to prioritize. They're kind of speed running through the draft. We've seen a lot of power picks being picked up. We've seen the Atlas get taken in nice and early from the side of Tang Dynasty, pairing that up with the Atlas, completing that up with Faramis. And we've actually seen this composition before. I can't think of who did this. What team is? I think. Oh, Bloodhounds. Bloodhounds ran this. They also had the Atlas and a 1-1 pairing with the Faramis in their first 3 picks. I knew it was similar. It was on the tip of my tongue. So we're seeing a little bit of that happen here. One of those top drafts, but also Carmilla Kaja from the side of Excellent Era. And Weezy, I think that's a pick for you to cover there in that 3rd slot. Someone you're kind of familiar with.
Yeah, definitely been a fan of the Starfall Knight for a long time, that Granger, but seeing him in this type of meta, kind of scratching my head. Not something we see too often, and now this is going to be more of a wild card draft for the side of Excellent Era, and I'm wondering how well it will kind of perform going forward. They had the option of, they did pick the Carmilla though, which is good. They picked the Kaja, so maybe having a little bit of that frontline presence to help Granger get online with that Destinata is a possible plan. But like you said, Granger is a marksman. He's a little bit squishier in terms of farming, and if the side of Tang Dynasty decides to go for that beefier jungle, such as speaking of beefy jungle, Ballman being taken out, and it looks like Excellent Era kind of on that same wavelength, thinking that if they have a beefy jungle, they'll possibly invade. So let's try and stop them from taking these junglers that can kind of harass this Granger. But things that do work into the side of Tang Dynasty, they have this Faramis. That's that Cold Altar being able to be activated, that second lifeline when things get a little bit dangerous. They have Sanji, over there with this Atlas with some Fatal Links, and they banned out that Diggy to make that possible. Wan, one of those marksmen that you definitely fear, especially in those 5v5 situations when you are out of place, and she hits all those weakness points to kind of proc that crossbow Tang for a possible wipeout. So we are going to have to see the side of Excellence Era be a little safe on their positioning, but one thing they do have is Shadow on this Kaja. Kaja can rush in, get that Divine Judgment off, but the question is, who does he focus? You can go in and get the Wan. Not even the Purify that Wan has with that second skill is enough to escape that Divine Judgment suppression. So the question is, where do you go from here? Is Kaja going to kind of focus that Wan, stop her from getting online with the crossbow Tang and getting a possible pick off in the gold lane for Alfred to kind of get on fire with that Irithel? Or are you going to see Wan kind of get online and get these weakness points and be that early aggressive marksman with that Inspire? But speaking of Inspire, both marksmen currently have an Inspire, but wait a minute. Alfred's going to go ahead and switch over to Purify last second. But man, oh man, is the draft looking scary right now for the side of Tang Dynasty. But I can't knock out Excellent Era. I still want to see how they kind of finalize this draft, but one thing they are currently missing is a heavy front line on their team. Yeah, Carmilla has a Curse of Blood, but is that enough to hold off an Atlas, a Faramis, a Wan playing overly aggressive, and then to top it off, Steve locking in that Akai with the heavy spin?
Definitely locking in that heavy spin and going to pair that up with the Phobius, and we've seen that interaction before, the heavy spin and the demonic force kind of feeding off of each other, proccing that demonic force multiple times. But it's also interesting to note, right, Fat Boy on that Granger, a little bit of an interaction there that procs the demonic force as well. That Death Sonata, right, the ultimate ringing out every single time he ults, you know, Granger kind of goes forward or rolls back in between shots. That all counts as procs for demonic force. So every time he brings out that ultimate, which we know is going to come either at the start of the fight or somewhere at the end to kind of clean up, it's going to proc that demonic force for Big Zeus straight onto the core of Excellent Air. So that's an interaction that's going to be very interesting to see. I'm not sure if Fat Boy was aware of that, since they did let the Phobias go through and paired up with that Akai. It's going to be very hard to avoid letting that demonic force through. Almost impossible, right? It's just going to have to come out. That's just how this matchup is just going to work, especially between the synergy in between the players of Tang Dynasty with those two picks alone. Even with the Shadow Stampede, right, on the Faramis, a lot of ways to proc demonic force. Big Zeus is going to have big impact in this match as far as I can tell on paper. But like we know, in between two competitive teams, it's always going to come down to the execution and keying in on those victory points for both sides.
And speaking of both sides, we are jumping into the game. We are watching Tang Dynasty versus Excellent Era, but already a request for a pause. Now, like we said, looking into the draft, one thing that is having to be noted is Shadow is running Kaja, and this is going to be a Kaja slotted in the mid lane, as Carmilla is going to be running that roam position. Carmilla with the Curse of Blood, able to get that 5-man set and chain that damage for your team is definitely going to be crucial. But speaking of crucial, we are going to embark back into the land of the Dawn. And I gotta say, Shadow on this Kaja for the mid lane, right? You have one job. Clear these minions, get to the gold lane, and stop Wan from getting online. Get that Divine Judgment, proc her, pull her in to your marksman over there on Alfred to get that kill with Irithel. Maybe popping, actually he has a Purify, he doesn't have the Inspire, so possibly because of this Atlas over there with Sanji. Now, speaking of Sanji though, having this Atlas definitely going to be hard for the side of Excellent Era. Like, they don't have anything to stop this Fatal Links from getting online, so definitely having to watch out for Sanji as this game progresses. A little bit of a look right now. You are seeing a little bit of a blue buff taken by Fat Boy, and like we said, Fat Boy is going to be running this Granger, and I really want to see how this kind of works out. Steve wasting no time, like you said, running more of a beefier jungler to kind of harass that Granger, may be a possible plan, and also being able to pick up some items such as Antique Caress to negate the physical damage. But speaking of damage, Alfred already a little bit of overextension, frozen, and with the over-aggression from Wan, able to secure the kill, but Fat Boy rushing in, taking out Wan in the mix. Both marksmen have fallen for both teams, but Shadow rushing in, able to take out Sanji, and that is going to give the kill lead to the side of Excellence Era.
Absolutely. Excellent Air already finding their mark, and they do have that snowball potential, right? Especially with that Granger there. That's exactly what you want. It has that burst potential in the early game to kind of deal with Tang Dynasty. Can kind of fall off later on, but if you can get them rolling, that's kind of what they're going for in the early game, can take that pressure and alleviate some stress for the side of Excellent Air and dish out a lot of harmful damage to those members of Tang Dynasty.
Yeah, Yeah, speaking of harmful damage, Turtle spawning in, and you know, both of these teams are prepping, trying to get to that level 4 bat. Sanji a little behind right now. Does not have that Fatal Links to kind of get that set for the team. You are seeing Arbs on this Esmeralda, fighting against that Phoveus, and have a, or no, that Kaja is helping her out. But speaking of help, Turtle is in play. Clash going down.
We are seeing the Colt to be taken up, but the Turtle being taken out by Fat Boy on the Granger. Arb's going to find Steve there. The Demonic Force popping left and right from Big Zeus, and we talked about that coming in from them. He's on the chase on Shadow here, trying to get that last proc. Does find a kill to trade that out, but Fat Boy did a lot of damage here, trying to make something play with that. Destinata is going to slay out Big Zeus on the trade. Sanji forced out on the flicker on the recall. It's a trade going to the favor Excellent Air along with that Turtle.
And this is what we kind of said, a little bit of eyes on Sanji right now, right? A little bit of a misread, not getting to that level 4 in time to provide that Fatal Links for his team was huge, as if he would have had that set, they had nothing to stop him. And that was a good read on the side of Excellent Era, realizing he's only level 3. We don't have to worry about the set potential yet. Let's take this Turtle and make it work in our advantage. And that is what you're seeing today, already leading by 2,000 gold, 3 minutes in. Now, looking in the gold lane. Like I said, keys to victory, right? We need a little bit of pressure to kind of help Alfred out. I'm not going to read that name. We're just going to say Wan, okay? But looking at Wan, definitely one of those heavy aggressive marksmen. But speaking of aggression,
we are seeing a potential clash in the bot side here. As Fat Boy is going to find a kill on Sanji here. The Link is in play. Heavy crossbow from Deeves. Or Alfred here looking to do a lot of damage. Double kill falling to the hands of this Granger. A triple kill in the hands of Fat Boy. He's eating good right now, but a double kill also into the favor of this Wan as he is ultimately taken down though. And now the pressure on this goal line between this Alfred in between Fat Boy. They're going to secure this first turret in the game.
this is exactly what you needed, right? We said it from the beginning. One of those conditions is to help Alfred get online, especially against that Wan and that Inspire. And that's exactly what we kind of seen so far. A little bit of a recap going forward. You saw the presence from Excellence Era to kind of wrap around and create this opportunity, realizing Wan is a problem, but if we shut her down in the early game, we can have Irithel kind of get online. And that's what you've seen here. Even with that Fatal Links connecting, that was a huge set to get their team where they needed to be. A lot of suppression going in from that Carmilla in that play, though, but Fat Boy rushing in with that Granger and Alfred, that double marksman combination, too much to handle in terms of damage. And now, like we said, they are fully online. Not only online, but taking neutral objectives as well. Now 4-8, leading by 4 kills, only 4 minutes in, has Turtle and Shield on their side, and also winning in gold by 4,000. Looking at the item so far, you are seeing Granger pick up some, possibly going for a Blade of Despair, even Irithel as well. And man, oh man, is the damage there. And we're going to have to see Sanji have a little bit easier time creating opportunity for their team. They have no direct counters to the Atlas, so he just needs to get off a couple Fatal Links, be at the right place at the right time. And I feel like this is going to be some of those game-changing clashes, and this is all going to be dependent on this Atlas. Also Steve running that Akai, like we said, heavy spin, procking out the demonic force over there by Big Zeus will definitely help them as, you know, Big Zeus is able to rotate around the map. Usually Phoveus having a little bit harder time, especially in the early phase of things, but when the towers are down and you are in these 5v5 clashes, that's where he kind of shines. But speaking of clash, getting bursted down.
We're seeing Zeusky taking down one proc from the demonic force, but too late. Is a 3-man rotation from Excellent Area is going to secure that kill. But on the bot side, Tang Dynasty making their own play, going to secure that tower as well. No kill, but those objectives, which is kind of going to win the game out for you. Sanji and Tony right now going face-to-face up against Esme, following Star Moon there. And did a lot of damage to Tony, going to force out that Colt Holter as the mid tower is also getting forced down. They're not going to have that to be able to go for any plays, but to set the Fatal Links, and now the heavy spin to combo it. 2 kills down, going into the hands of the Wan, a shutdown as well. That's massive as far as the gold for the side of Tang Dynasty falling into their marksman. And what a play. They lose the tower, but find a little trade value in the meanwhile.
Yeah, and you're kind of wondering, is this worth it, right? When you take this mid turret, definitely one of the most important towers in the game to kind of open up that map for your team to have more of that offensive pressure and create plays. And I will say, I honestly think it was. Even though they gave them a couple of kills, 6-9, they're still leading in the killing. They're leading by gold as well. Looking at these items being picked up from both sides, you are seeing this Phoveus pick up that Clock of Destiny, and that's all he really needs to kind of get online inside of these fights. Now just waiting for Akai to build that synergy on these demonic forces. And you kind of seen it in that clash before, as you know, Atlas rushed in, got the Fatal Links with no contest, then Akai with the heavy spin, and it kind of close out a couple of those members. But speaking of close out, Alter activated.
And now Atlas starting to close the distance, going to find the Fatal Links onto Fat Boy, keeping away from securing that as it falls into the hands of Steve on the Akai. Crossbow obtained from Juan. We're going to find Gojo, a killing spree into the hands of him as he also takes down Fat Boy. 2 members down by the hands of this Juan. They're on the chase for Arb. Sanji trying to close the distance there. Not going to be able to get it just in time, but they've already got the kills. They've already got the turtle, and now on the retreat. But Esme looking to retaliate. Falling Star Moon trying to find the skill on Sanji. Gets caught by the headbutt, but is still going to be able to keep going, finding that kill. Shadow Stampede from Faramus is going to pull Def right back to him. Is already going to pick up a double kill, and now the full retaliation swinging in from Excellent Era, a triple kill into the hands of the XP laner from Excellent. And what an excellent play from him. Now Big Zoo's in trouble, trying to disengage here, but Alfred not trying to let him go. The big heavy crossbow out, but they're going to have to disengage here. Not going to be able to find the kill, but a lot of damage has been inflicted from the side of Excellent Era.
Man, oh man, what a play indeed. And man, looking at Excellent Air right now, being the heavy aggressors, you've seen that split push over there by their marksman Alfred to take the inner turret for the top lane. Definitely paying attention to what is available on the map and making the most of it. Speaking about making the most, a little bit of a recap on some of these clashes. Speaking about synergy, speaking about macro, there goes Alfred already with the split push, trying to create that opportunity with the separation on the map. And you definitely have to be careful, as the more towers they take, the more gold for the entire team. Not only taking a tower on the top side, but then going in and they do take this mid turret as well. Yeah, they lost a couple members, but they took 2 towers in that process. And like we said, they're able to maintain a gold lead, a kill lead. Even though they have some members falling, they are still winning overall across the map. Looking at a couple of their secret weapons right now. Arbs on this Esmeralda, 4-0-0 on fire. Speaking of fire, Fatal Links connecting, but purified.
Gonna save him with Demonic Force on the way. Gonna be able to take him out. Maybe Faramis. That last final poke damage isn't gonna find the kill. Grangelo finding a tower and now joining in on this team fight. The Falling Stars from Esmeralda gonna get caught out by the heavy spin from Akai. Is gonna be enough to secure the kills. The links are coming down from Excellent Era. Fat Boy gonna find Tony there. Cold Man is out of play. They did find and secure that kill on Esmeralda at the hands of Steve on this Akai. But a 2-for-1 trade here in the favor of Excellent Era, as they are still pushing down and finding momentum on the map.
Definitely finding momentum, and Excellent Era just having an easier time so far. Just been more of the aggressive team, and everything's been kind of landing in their hands. They lost one turret on the bottom side, but compared to what the opposing side lost in the hands of Tang Dynasty, it's definitely the trade you want. And I was kind of wondering how Fat Boy would play off with this Granger in the jungle. And look at his KDA right now. This man is just insane. 8, 2, and 3. Looking at his items so far, Malefic Roar for some pin, Hunter Strike for some additional pin and mobility, some crit over there with that Berserker's Fury. The man is a monster. Speaking of monsters, speaking of crits, Berserker's Fury over there on the Leslie, having that Wind Talker as well, the Swift Boots for additional attack speed, and then that Scarlet Phantom. And like we said, that is a lot of range damage and crit from both members, and also some piercing into that armor with those pin items. Now, looking at the opposing marksman, the Wan, the Corrosion Sights has been built, that Demon Hunter Sword, and also the Wind of Nature. No Wind of Nature on the side of Excellent Era, so definitely a little bit of an advantage to Wan right now. If you can get in and get that crossbow of Tang, we may possibly see a good engagement to turn this game around for the side of Tang Dynasty.
And that's a 3-man Falling Star move set we're seeing, but with the heavy spin in return, able to find a tower. Big Zeus finding the kill on Arbs on Esmeralda getting taken out. Steve gonna find Gojo here. A lot of important pieces from the side of Excellent Era getting taken down, but a double kill into the hands of Alfred. The Butler serving up damage, serving up justice, as he does get taken out, traded out by Steve though, and the killing spree into the hands of Fat Boy. They're looking for the mid inhibitor now. It's top side, Tang Dynasty clearing it out, but they're losing the mid inhibitor now. Now the flicker play in from Shadow, the combo from Fat Boy. They're gonna find Wan there, and it's Tony left all alone here, staring at Fat Boy and Shadow, looking at the potential end here. They are showing these mini waves. No one is here to help this Faramis. They're keying in on the Nexus. Fat Boy throwing out shots here, looking to take it down. The Nexus not fat enough to survive the onslaught from Excellent Era, and they will go up 1-0 against Tang Dynasty.
Victory!
Whoa, wait a minute. Can we get a little bit of a recap on what we just seen? Oh my goodness. Fat Boy over there just dominating with Shadow, the two-man. You do see Destinata going in by Granger to get that kill and leaving that Faramis by himself to defend. And I love this kind of method, right? You realize Faramis can't clear these minions in time. You're giving him a harder situation. And you also have that marksman Fat Boy with that Malefic Roar to do additional damage over there to that tower to close out that game. And not just a game, a 10-minute, 59-second game, trying to break records today with these fast finishes. And man, I got to give it to him. It was very impressive from the side of Excellence Era. Now, a little bit of a look at the opposing side, Tang Dynasty. You had this Atlas. I didn't really get to see the Atlas get online too much, maybe a little bit toward the end. Definitely helped out, but it was not enough, and it was a little too late, especially in that beginning when we seen Atlas not hit the level 4 prior to that turtle. That's one of the most important things as the tank, is to make sure you have that set ready and available for these neutral objectives. And like we seen, it was not ready as he was only level 3. And that was a good read from the side of Excellent Era. Kind of push in, go overly aggressive, take the turtle, and then they took 2 kills off of that trade as well. And that's where that snowball kind of started to happen. Really well game indeed, but looking at the side of Excellence Era on the data side of things, right? Granger, Fat Boy, the jungler, 65% turret damage. That Malefic Roar kind of stacking up as well to make that possible. Being at the right place at the right times. Alfred with the split pushes over on the top lane, creating that opportunity for additional gold when the side of Tang Dynasty was not kind of paying attention to the map. Yeah, you're focusing on this fight, but we got a marksman over in the top lane, stripping you guys down to your inhibitor before 7 minutes. And that was definitely one of these things that helped pave the way for the early game. So, like we said, this is just one match. This is one battle in the entire war. And the question is, can Tang Dynasty hold on to this fire and win a game to even out the playing field? Or will we see another sweep today, which would be the first time ever in history for the MLSA, if with all 3 series being a sweep? Find out next, as we are going to get these teams ready to embark back into the Land of Dawn. Don't go anywhere. Get some drinks, get some popcorn, and we'll be back with you guys momentarily.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Oh, and And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. I can feel you near when you're miles away. Yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, never, never wanna forget. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of Dawn, and we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. Today is Season 1, Week 4, Day 4, Series 3. Not only Series 3, but Match 2, as we've seen a domination from Excellence Era to take a win over Tang Dynasty. Definitely a fast game indeed. Only 10 minutes and 59 seconds for the first game. But like we said, this is just one part of the war. That's just one battle as these teams are competing in a best of 3. And the question is, are we going to see Excellent Era get a sweep? And if they do, that'll be history in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, as we have never had 3 sweeps in a row for all 3 series. So if they do pull this off, definitely impressive nonetheless. But the question is, can they keep on that pressure, that fire that they have started, or are we going to see Tang Dynasty kind of rush in and take them down? Speaking of taking down, a little bit of a recap on today's schedule. We've seen Series 1 Elite 10 versus Only the Squad, ending in a sweep, with Only the Squad kind of being victorious with a dominant fashion. Series 2, Nefarious versus Blacklist International. Same story, different day. Actually, same day as Nefarious was able to close it out with a sweep now. And like I said, the question going forward is, do we see history repeating for a third time in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, as we are watching Excellent Era versus Tang Dynasty for Match 2, Series 3. Also, guys, we are joined on the desk from two amazing casters. We got Coach Deku on the play-by-play and also some on-point analysis from Eunice.
Hello.
Absolutely. Thank you for the introduction. Definitely looking forward to see Tang Dynasty up against Excellent Era yet again. And we have seen a lot of sweeps, right? Series 1, Series 2, both ending up with the brooms coming through. I'd like to see some fight back from Tang Dynasty. While it would be cool to see 3 series equal into a sweep, I'd like to see a little dog, a little fight back from these other sides, right? You don't want to get swept in the MLSA. You want to show that you can kind of dig back, right? Dig deep and maybe go for the reverse sweep up against these opponents. But we did see Excellent Era kind of with a shutout clinic game, pretty done nicely there. Almost picture perfect if you're really looking at it case by case as far as how Excellent Era executed that win and matched up to those win conditions up against Tang Dynasty. But speaking of matchups, over to the drafting phase. And Eunice, talk to me about some of these picks and bans that we're seeing right now.
All right, I do see, for talking about bands, first of all, Kaja, Yves, Joy, Atlas, and Franco. Very interesting ban on that Franco. And on the enemy side, there is a Faramis, a Kai, Carmilla, Valentina, and Beatrix ban. Now, banning that Beatrix, in my opinion, is honestly a very, very strong choice. Now, Beatrix, every time each team has picked up that Beatrix, it's been pretty high successful win rate, actually, with the Beatrix. But I do see that they did pick up the Leah Mord, and they did pick up the 1-1. And that Martis, actually. 3 pretty good heroes so far drafted, but right now it's looking very good for the side of Excellent Era, but nonetheless so good for the side of Tang Dynasty. They did pick up that Martis and that Leomord. Now, if we do know, in this current meta, Leomord and Martis is actually 2 of the best junglers currently, and since each side has one of those good junglers and the good meta hero so far, it would be a very interesting match to see today. I do see that 1-1 laning up against a carry, and in my opinion, 1-1 should be winning lane, especially with that Inspire. So if that 1-1 does fall into a little bit of a pothole there, that 1-1 can just pop that Inspire, be able to just get back to where she needs to be able to properly lane against that carry. Speaking of mages, I do see a Lilia drafted into a Lunox. Now, we all know Lilia has one of the most fastest wave clears amongst any of the mages here. I do see that Lilia setting up those bombs right now in order to fast clear that mid lane. 2 bombs straight down the mid lane. Just proc it, and then just gonna start the clearing phase. Probably will start to rotate very fast. I do see bot getting a little bit of a babysitting happening here, just to help that carry against that 1-1. Like I said, that 1-1 should be able to win lane, but pretty sure once that 1-1 notices that roam is missing, would be very interesting. I do see that mid lane already rotating down now, so interesting play to see what would happen here ongoing.
Definitely, and with that mid lane composition, right, with Lilia and Grok at your disposal, you definitely have the fast clear potential in the mid lane. But looks like Tang Dynasty, though, doing a good job of keeping their clear up as well. But like we said, 1 shot, 1 kill on the waves in between that 2, and they're going right back down to the gold lane. But now with Fat Boy on that Leomord with this rotation here, and 4 almost unlocked, they can definitely look to make a play here with the Stampede, and it's looking like they might go ahead and set up for that up against Tang Dynasty potentially. But no, Fat Boy calling the Stampede to go for the Lunox here. The call has been made. Flicker forced out, and a red tree coming out from Fat Boy. He's looking to do the damage. Not going to be able to secure a kill though. Couple technical difficulties going on here on the stream. We did see right the Leomord going for that kill, not able to secure it. I would expect maybe Tang Dynasty to go ahead and go for a play on that turtle now that they do know the utility has been burnt out from Fat Boy on this Leomord, and it does look like that is happening. We are seeing him kind of set up around the river there, trying to make a play happen. Tony and company looking to clear out this mid lane. Gojo is going to clear this, maybe get that 4. I see Lily in the top lane, so they are going for the double 4 rotation after that minute 30 mark. We are seeing them playing clear it out. Lilia now has 4, and so does Grok, and that's a great play from them. Black Dragon coming in though from Arbs on this YZ, looking to zone out the jungler. More close coming out from Martis. Gonna have to disengage from the turtle pit barrier coming out from Gojo. They're doing a great job of securing this. So it's gonna go into the hands of Fat Boy uncontested, and that's without even having to use the Black Boots or the Wild Charge that they want to go ahead and pick up ahead of that turtle.
Absolutely, and off cam actually, the Yuzong did end up dying as well as the Benedetta. So if that's it's currently a 2-to-1 trade for the side of Excellent Era. I do see these little small pickup damages picking up by the side of Excellent Era. Nothing too big right now, but I do see that the marksman on the side of Excellent Era is definitely in the lead. Now, with those side laners being picked off, not too much of an issue. I mean, both sides have died once. We see that Benedetta cutting the lane beautifully. Now, looks like they're going to do something in that bot lane, but I think they're actually going to disengage. We see that Lilia and that carry trying to push up on that Wanwan, but Wanwan is a very momentum hero. And speaking of pickoffs,
seeing the Dark Ult come out from Tony, but not gonna find a kill there. Black Boot's getting used by Shadow though. But speaking of Shadow's Fat Boy, making Martis nothing more than the Shadow, nothing more than the memory, as he does pick up a kill in the jungle. Now on the hunt for Tony here on the Lunux. Gonna disengage though, nothing to find there. Now proxying off on this gold lane, forcing 1-1 back to that tier 2, kind of dancing between Fat Boy, trying to go ahead and pick up this tower nice and early, letting Carry and Shadow diligently work away at that gold shield, and now working away at the last remaining bit of HP from the tower. Glooms in play for the zone. The side of Excellent Era getting it done right now on these objectives. We've seen them create this same kind of zoning up on that turtle and now on the tower. But speaking of zoning, Minotaur with that fat Minoran Fury gonna connect and let this Martis go ahead and pick up that first kill of the decimation. Second kill going to the hands of Minotaur, now Fat Boy. But the 3-man wild charge set from Gojo, allowing Fat Boy to go in here for the play. More calls from Steve, getting over the wall with the Stampede, following up, gonna pick up that kill now. Looking for more, looking for Tony, forcing out the flicker, but with no light. Oh, he's gonna get taken out here. That's a double kill into the jungler of Excellent Era, looking for 3. Looking to take out this Sanji. Oh, cross one Tang though, but now before the triple kill is picked up, and now gonna get taken down, a shutdown into the hands of this marksman for Tang Dynasty. But that's after the 3 kills of Excellent Air falling to the hands of Fat Boy.
Absolutely. Now, with that shutdown gold on the side of 1-1, should be able to pick up a little bit of items. I do see very major items getting picked up by the side of Excellent Air. I do see the carry now with the first core item with that DHS, followed by the Hunter Strike into the hands of Yuzong and that Leomord. Unfortunately, there are no core items for the side of Tang Dynasty, and when I talk about core items, into that Martis. So that Martis is now has actually built defense first. And speaking of defense,
we're seeing Excellent Era on the offensive here as the Black Dragon came in. Gojo with the wild charge. Now the Stampede gonna find a member, looking for 2, but on the other side, Shadow finding 2 members with the Lilia there. Double kill falling to the hands of Steve, as Fat Boy is looking for more as well. Triple kill though into the hands of Steve, the Conqueror, 3,000 Worlds, knocking down 3 members from Excellent Era, getting it done right now as Alfred will make a rotation, but the fight's already over. A little too late. You can see these teams are not scared of a clash. We're seeing the side of Excellent Era with these plays, the synergy, the wild charge into some of these Stampede plays previously down on the bot side into the hands of Fat Boy, who was yet again eating good. Picked up a triple kill here, almost another triple kill scenario in the mid lane. So obviously Excellent Era knowing how to kind of duke it out, but Tang Dynasty fighting back. As we did see Martis equalize that fight this time, picking up 3 kills. Speaking of kills here, potentially a clash here. There's more kills coming out from Martis. Both are looking to disengage a barrier, though, splitting the roamer away from the jungler of Tang Dynasty. And Zeus coming in with the Electro Flash to clear out that wave, and Stampede coming out from Fat Boy. Now the Wild Charge follow up, and now the dance of death in between Zeus and the members of Excellent Air are going to be able to escape. And now Mortal Coils coming in from Steve. The return from Tang Dynasty are looking to make a play, but the Lunux finding and assisting this kill into the hands of Alfred, who is going to find shutdown gold on this Martis. Zeus and Sanji left all alone as the other member of Tang Dynasty is going to go ahead and recall here. Excellent Air somehow being able to come out on top in that fight was looking a little shaky there, but they are going to be able to find a trade on the mid tower. Fat Boy working it down, and even on the top side working down that tower as well, even with the members defending. That's a mid tower going down. Big Zeus and Sanji not trying to get up this tower for free though. They are looking to defend. Minotaur does have 4 rage, but Minoran Fury could come out if the cooldown does allow him. It's currently not available. But now, Excellent Air starting to make the rotation around the map. They have opened up a lot of it with that mid tower.
Absolutely. Now, both sides of Excellent Air's mid lane and bot lane has been taken down, so definitely need to do a little bit of objective play by the side of Tang Dynasty. Now, carry is very ahead as gold-wise compared to Tang Dynasty. 2 damage items already picked up by carry, but in response, that Wanwan does have corrosion and that DHS on their side as well. Now, neutral objective turtle has been picked up by the side of Excellent Air, but speaking of pickoffs,
Picking up the pace here. Stampede has been called in, looking for anything after securing that turtle. Not going to find a kill here, but we can't expect them to go for this tier 3 tower. The barrier has been placed down by Gojo, trying to keep the members of Tang Dynasty away, keeping Zeus in an uncomfortable position. Who's going to go ahead and use that Electo blow to go ahead and escape the clutches of Excellent Air, but the tower not going to be able to escape the damage from Excellent Air as they do find a trade there. And now on the bot side, Tang Dynasty gold laner looking to go ahead and trade that out as well, but can smell the retaliation. He is going to go ahead and recall carry on the way to the lane there as Excellent Air is looking to keep control of this map.
Absolutely. With that carry being forced down a recall, Zeus does have a chance to push up at least even just the minion wave. And looks, things like Zeus is trying to push up that lane, but gotta be careful. That Yuza can definitely do a little bit of a little brain trick over here, but ends up taking down that tower. Good response by the side of Tang Dynasty. Now, speaking of response,
we are seeing a group up here in the jungle. Fat Boy calling in the Stampede, gonna force the light ult from Tang Dynasty mid laner, but now caught in that AoE CC from Sanji. The double knock up here is Arch looking for the backline with the Black Dragon, not gonna find a kill, but still going in for this Martis. Mortal Coil's gonna negate that damage and kill off the XP laner of Excellent Air as Arch is taken out. A 1-for-1 trade as Sanji was taken out, and now the retaliation from Excellent Air looking to find an edge as they do take out Big Zeus from the side of Tang Dynasty. That's a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of Excellent Air right now.
absolutely. Now, looking at this score here and looking at that gold, I don't think Tang Dynasty is pretty set up right now to be able to do 5v5 team fights. Now, we do see these core items just constantly getting picked up by that carry. 7,000 gold compared to 5,000 gold by the side of Tang Dynasty. They're 1-1. I can definitely tell that the 1-1's trying to build a Wind of Nature. Now, Wind of Nature is very crucial on 1-1 since 1-1 is so flimsy and very squishy. She needs that little bit of extra sustain, that little help from her items to be able to sustain. But besides that, everything else is looking kind of sketchy for Tang Dynasty now. Like we said in every single stream, we do need to look for these small mistakes. And with that small mistakes being said, Tang Dynasty does pick up the Lord. That is a very, very nice retry coming in from the side of Tang Dynasty. And speaking of nice,
We are seeing the bot lane. Arb's going to get outplayed by the Wong with that crossbow tank. But with that being said, with it being Pop Alfred moving in for the kill with the speedy light wheels is going to find that killing spree on Wong. Going to go ahead and take him down in the mid lane. A little bit more fight going on here. It's Fat Boy Gojo with the two-man wild charge underneath the tower. Steve trying to get out of there with a mortal pulse. And Sanji trying to provide the disengage with that Minor and Fury. Going to go ahead and facilitate that kill to once, but not before Fat Boy will trade out Steve and now trade out Tony. The trade still going to favor of the side of Excellent Air, doing an excellent job of executing in these team fights and be able to come out on top in some of these trades.
Absolutely. Now, the thing is, with the side of Excellent Air's draft compared to the draft of Tang Dynasty, not gonna lie, both teams have very good heroes. I'm not gonna say that no side is actually, they're pretty tight on picks here, but only issue that I see right now, in my opinion, the Lilia. Now, Lilia doesn't have to be too fed right now in order to do damage. Obviously, she is a late game scaling hero. As her bombs trigger, she's able to get AoE CC, but that peel and that second life that Lilia has, she can pretty much throw herself in any situation, and she just has to ult and she'll immediately be back to where she first started. But that Lunox, even though Lunox does have light ult, it's hard for her to get into that situation where her light ult is either used for escaping or to be able to help engage with their team. And that synergy just has to click in with the side of Tang Dynasty. I do see the immortality picked up by that Leah Morn, so now they're going to definitely have some second chances when it comes to these team fights, but not quite sure for the side of Tang Dynasty.
And right there on the side of Excellent Air doing a good job providing that damage. They were looking for the tower, but now Sanji on the offensive here. Potentially could go for a play here. We are seeing Fat Boy, though, almost picking up a kill on Steve here. The Stampede starting to do a little too much damage for even Martis to deal with here as Excellent Air is looking to choke in this map. They are going to go ahead and pick up this tier 2 tower in the top side and then wisely go ahead and back off here as there's nothing more to go. Barrier in play. Go ahead and split off the members of Tang Dynasty in Excellent Air. They will now divert their attention to other lanes here. And start maybe pressuring them in. We do know Lord is coming up in less than 30 seconds. Arb's already ahead of the curve, starting to work in on that bot lane. Speaking of lanes in the mid, with the poke fest going on, both teams are trying to clear out that mid to secure that neutral state there. Barrier coming out from Gojo. He's been doing a good job of cutting off these rotations and forcing these little awkward paths for the side of Tang Dynasty to get to where they want to be. Speaking of where they want to be, the Lord has spawned in, the Enhanced Luminous Lord at that. Another barrier there from Gojo. And it's these little type of things right here, these little plays, these minute decisions to kind of force Tang Dynasty in uncomfortable spots. Stampede coming in, though, from Fat Boy. The calls are made to go ahead and disengage from Lord and go for the fight. They will go ahead and focus down on Steve, the jungler from Tang Dynasty. It's a kill going into the hands of Alfred the Butler, serving up a quick defeat here. Double kill falling to his hand, trying to work for a third. Is going to be able to find, no, crossbow Tang popped out from Wan going to turn, not going to find the kill, though. Fat Boy will survive, but Wan will not. His artists will trade him out, and that is sweet as far as the fight goes in favor of Excellent Air. That's 3 members for 0, as they will go ahead and go back for the Lord now that they have secured the victory in that team fight.
Absolutely. Neutral or objective is going to be picked up by the side of Excellent Era. Now, looking at these items, I just want you guys to focus on that carry. Carry is at 12k gold, and that 1-1 is just not, the damage is just not there. I mean, the carry already has the wind, and she's able to defend, and her attack speed is there. As long as that Yuzong just peels for that carry is able to dominate anybody. We already see carry already trying to get into position, and speaking of getting into position,
we're seeing the push coming in from Excellent Air. Luminous Lord up in the top slide. The charge passive intact for Lord. We're seeing Arbs right now. The Batman to this Alfred here, looking to serve up this victory for Excellent Air. The Black Dragon has landed, is down. Sanji uncomfortable, getting knocked up. Does not have the rage to be able to defeat the side of Excellent Air here. They will find the Lord. Crossbow Tango from Walmart. Going to find Gojo working down on Arbs now. Not going to be able to take him out, but that's a solid defense for the side of Tang Dynasty. With a Luminous Lord losing 1 inhibitor and able to pick up a kill as well. I mean, there's only so much you can gain when you're on the back end, but that's a good trade to take there, and something you're just going to have to deal with and chip away if you're on the side of Tang. What's going to chip away? Let's break down and see what led to that Lord happening. We've seen the call, right, to go for the fight. Steve, the jungler from Tang Dynasty, getting focused and isolated. The retreat out of play, and the Butler, Alfred, with his Batman arms in the background, doing a lot of damage, picking up a double kill, and able to secure the number advantage for the side of Excellent Air when they decided to go ahead and disengage and go for that Lord. Speaking of disengage, to engage, coming in from the side of Excellent Air, another call for the fight. We are seeing now arms on the backside, looking for the wand, does pick up the kill. The marksman to the side of Tang Dynasty down, and all that meantime, they got wiped out. This all members of Tang Dynasty off the field as Excellent Air will look out to close this series. The recalls, the celebration, the jubilation, the excitement for the side of Excellent Air. One of their first matches in the MLSA and be able to come out on top. That's going to be 3 sweeps tonight, everybody. Steve spawning in, but it doesn't matter. Nexus is going to get taken out. There's no way you're defending this. Excellent Air will go ahead and close out this series and close out tonight's scheduled scrims.
absolutely. Now, I don't know. I do not know what to say, only because, okay, in the very beginning, that carry has definitely been pressured in very, very early, and because of that 1-1 just fell off way too early, and that carry was able to pick up that gold, pick up those items, and was able to take out and eliminate Tang Dynasty. Now the present has been wrapped and set under the tree for the team Excellent Era. Now look at that Leomort 819, good support coming in from that Grok and that Yuzong have to give props to him. Always peeling off the back line, which caused 1-1 and Ludox to actually force back and be very situational when it comes to engaging. 35% damage coming in from the side of Excellent Arrow and that Leomord, and that tower push, very beautiful by the side of Excellent Arrow with that 57% coming in. Now, on the side of Tang Dynasty, Benedetta and 1-1 has been putting in the works for those turret damage and that pushing, but unfortunately fell a little bit short. Full sets came in though from the side of Tang Dynasty, that Minotaur, that Rage, being able to try in front for the entire team. And even with that, they did fall a little bit short, but beautiful play by a Red Tree though on the side of Tang Dynasty. That Mars was able to pick up that Lord and had a little bit of an advantage, tried to snowball, but looks like the snowman did fall in the side of Excellent Era. Congratulations to Excellent Era. Congratulations on your first win. And good games to both sides.
Definitely good games to both sides. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to close out today's series. A little bit of a recap on what we've seen. The Elite 10 versus Only the Squad. Best of 3. Series 1 with the sweep into the hands of Only the Squad. Series 2, Nefarious versus Blacklist International. We did see Nefarious win that series with the sweep as well. And to finish off today, we've seen Excellent Era versus Tang Dynasty. And again, history repeating itself. We did see Excellent Era kind of progress through that game with another sweep. And that is the first time in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy history that we've seen 3 sweeps in a row for 3 series. That just shows you that these teams are playing no games and they're ready to take it to the next level. That's the whole focus here for the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, is to help teams in North America prepare for NACTs, prepare for NAMPL, and future upcoming events for 2023 in North America. Special shout out to all the casters today. You heard a little bit of Coach Deku in the previous match as well, and throughout today's stream. Eunice as well on the on-point analysis, and then we also heard some from Master Rim. So thanks so much, guys. They are a part of the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and definitely give them the appreciation they deserve of casting these games. But like I said, I appreciate everybody in the stream. Definitely love seeing you guys in there voting for your favorite teams, and also those who compete. Special shout out to you guys as well, as the whole focus of this is to get people prepared for the future events, and that is what we're seeing today. A lot of sweeps. Me personally, I'm not a fan of sweeps. I like seeing things go into a game 3, so maybe starting up next week we'll possibly see a little bit more of that competition rise, as you don't want to get swept twice. But speaking of competition, tomorrow actually we're going to be doing a special live event. A little bit of money on the line, as well as 2 teams are going to be competing. A top 8 team by the name of Bloodhounds, led by Boca Roscoe, and also a special appearance from Pika, who is, I believe, the Rome on their team. So, shout out to my boys over there. I'm excited to see what you guys do. This will be the first time we see Bloodhounds compete in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and they are going up against the Elite 10. So, I really want to see how these games go moving forward. Definitely excited to see, especially on a Friday, a special event. So, definitely catch us live. We'll be live at 8 p.m. Eastern time for that series, a best of 3. So, place your votes. Let us know who you guys are rooting on for that match. And speaking about rooting on, guys, if you're in the North American region, you're playing Mobile Legends, and you want to take your gameplay to a professional platform or professional level, register on the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy through our official Discord server. Even if you're a solo player, we provide you guys the opportunity to look for teams. There's a place where you can post your stats, and some of these teams that you've seen compete today will possibly pick you up, and so much more. Along that, if you are already in a team, definitely sign up still, as we provide a place for you to register your team and compete like all of these amazing teams preparing for these future events. As always, my name is Wheezy. I've been your host today, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Special shout out to everybody across the world in the land of the dawn. Happy holidays from the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. We hope to see you guys on the next one. As always, take care of yourself, take care of each other. See you guys next time. Peace.